All right. First of all, thank you so much for joining. I have invited many people, including other speakers. So there's going to be very exciting space where we will get a lot of information. We will share the lot of information among each other. Um, so, Ashborn, welcome. Backend and DevOps engineer. Nice. My background is backend engineer, so I mean, I used to be backend engineer. So anybody, any backend engineer, it's I have an emotional connection right there. Again, this is an open space. Please feel free to request the mic. I've invited many people, so let's begin, and then as other people will join, we will continue. So this is the space number six that I'm hosting. I have hosted five other spaces all around junior developers, around how to do the job search, and then how to do portfolio project, how to do goal setting, and then there was there was one for how to build your online presence or in office presence. So I have started this series of spaces. I host every Sunday 1 p.m. and then they last for a couple of hours. Um, in this particular space, I wanted to talk about small talks. Small talks that you can do when you are in office. If any of you are working in office, there are many situations where you are walking in the hallway and you encounter someone, and then you say hi, they say hello, and then you stop and do some kind of conversation. These conversation goes a very long way. Same situation that you most offices has this coffee machine, and then you stand there and then kind of you have that conversation. Then meetings are another extremely powerful place where you can do these kind of interaction, and that work whether or not you are in office or remote. So in both cases you meet whenever you have this meeting with either the your team, client, stakeholders, you find new people, and then you can have those kind of conversation there, a small conversation before the meeting or after the meeting, which which create a repo. First interaction, and then it create the repo that you can then build upon. Hi Saket, welcome. We're talking about we're just starting, so I'm giving a background of what is small talk, why small talk matters for a developer, um, and then um, now those are the situation where you will find these opportunities. Now, topic could be it could be about it could be weather, it could be hobbies, it could be sports, it could be the movies. If there is a movie that is going on, it could be any of the current event, any common interest that you can find, and um, so by doing that, the biggest benefit that you will get is you will start building. Well, first of all, you're talking to a person, and hey, my friend Christina is here. Goodness. So we just starting, Christina. Um, Ved is here. Vishal is here. Awesome, awesome. This space going to be extremely good. I'm going to take a quick second here. Welcome, Vishal. Welcome, Ved.
Hi everyone, hi Vinod.
Hi, and welcome, Christina. Awesome. All right. So, first of all, the credit for this topic goes to Vishal, and he he's the co-host as well. So, um, this is one of the topic, by the way, that I want to learn more about. Vishal said he also want to learn more about. So, um, I'm a highly introvert person, but over time I got better. So I have some practical experience that I will be able to share, but in no way these are. Um, One second, let me quickly change. Okay, yeah. So, all right. So the way I have done, so this is the space number six. I have done five other spaces before. The way I am was conducting these spaces, which I'm learning a lot, so it's getting more organic. But I started with coming up with an agenda, and then have discussion around it. So right today, I was thinking to talk about what small talks are. Then we talk about why it matters, what are the benefit, and then we go into how to do those. And we don't have to stick to that order. We can just bring all these elements together. So starting with what is a small talk. A small talk, if you are, hey Udba and Ravi Rajit, welcome. So we'll start with what is a small talk. And it is something, if you're in-person setting, if you're working in an office, we're talking about an introvert junior developer. So I'm just going to use those example, but obviously it could be anywhere. It could be in a spaces too. It could be a DM as well, right? It applied to many places. So in office, you have so many opportunities where you go to a you're walking from your desk to coffee machine, you encounter somebody and you have a discussion with them. That's a small talk. If you are at the coffee machine, you find someone else there and you start talking. That's another example. The third one is, if you go to the meeting, there are discussion before and after. Udba, you're laughing. What happened? You're All right, I'm going to bring him. All right,
Now,
what's
because
going
you
on?
say about a small talk, that's something that came out of my mind, so I was laughing. My bad.
So Udba is my friend, Ravi Raji is my friend. We have been doing all these six spaces now together. So his laugh was matters to me. So, okay, I'm going to quickly finish. So, those are the situations. Meetings are amazing platform for having a small talk and build the reputation. And whether it is a in-person meeting or a remote meeting, you get so many opportunities before the meeting start. If you go there early, you find some people and you can connect with them, or right after the meeting, and then you can also connect with these people through the team messages or whatever platform that your company is using. um, and these meetings that I'm talking about could be with your team, could be with your client, could be with your stakeholders or different other people. So those are opportunities for you to build a reputation. In this chat, for example, you could do a small talk just by sending another message to a person who is here you find um, for example, Ashbourne is a backend developer with a DevOps background. I noticed that, I call out that, and then I shared that I was one. And if you're in the listener section, you have the similar interest, you can send a quick message to the other person and have a small talk. The small talk common topics include talking about weather, talking about hobbies, talking about sports, current event, India Pakistan cricket match yesterday. For any cricket fan, that was a big deal. So you can have such a quick conversation with any person who is interested in that. Then movies, current events, and all. I will stop by saying don't touch the controversial topic during these small talk because you're just building the reputation at that point. So that's a brain dump about what is a small talk. I want to open the floor for other people, whoever can add to what I said. I feel like these spaces are like open source project where one person adds something and then everyone else contribute to it. Um, so anybody who with the pull request, please please share your thoughts.
I'll go. So, let me clarify. I wasn't laughing at you. It was just like when you said small talk, some of the funny thing that happened at my work just popping in my head, and I'm like, oh man, talking about small talk. Uh, but so small talk is really important if it's regarding a subject, right? Meaning like you don't want to just go to someone and then talk about something that doesn't make any sense, right? Let's say, let me give you a scenario. Let's say if I'm talking to my coworker and I'll be like, "Hey man, you see that last night there was the award show and someone slapped someone, right?" Like, I mean, if I were to talk like that, I mean, people will find offended at some point, right? But if I go to someone and talk like, "Hey man, I hope your family is doing great, I heard that, your parents or someone is sick, I hope they're doing great," and then build up a conversation. So basically small talk, to me, in my opinion, is something that you start to start the conversation and then start getting connection through that. So you don't want to, like, and especially if you um talking to someone who's relatively new in the company, or maybe you are someone who's new in the company, and if you just want to start off with something like nonsense and not related to any tech related, or maybe a job related, or maybe something is not related to any technology or job, and but you want to come across as more sophisticated, right? Meaning like you don't want to talk about something that it creates, like we know, say, a little bit more controversial, and then that's something that might create a problem. And especially if you're someone new, your first expression is always the last expression, right? So always like be in mind that even if you're doing a small talk, make sure you say something that you can find a connection to the other person. That's all I want to say.
Great point. You don't want to start on the wrong foot by calling out something that already start with slap. Um, Vishal, do you want to share what your thoughts are around a small talk?
Uh, I don't have like a gyan to give, but I have questions actually. Like I'm very bad at small talk. I'm very good at messaging and DMs and chatting, but I'm very bad at in person or even phone calls for that matter, because like I feel that I'm not funny. Somehow I'm a little bit serious as a personality. I don't know. Like I think I'm funny inside, but to the other person I look a bit rude. Like there have been situations, like I'll be honest, like I made a joke and nobody laughed, and I was just laughing internally on my jokes. So because of these small situations, like I am little bit I have put the leg back, and I'm little bit like I need to improve a lot on small talk. And the one thing that I wanted to know is, for me the start is a problem. Like whenever, even in my office, when the first thing, like even in spaces, or even in spaces, like for instance, like this is a space that I know many people, so I can just start a conversation. But if I go to a space where there are random people doing small talk, they're talking about movies or cricket or something, and I'm like, I have 100 things to say in my head, but I'm like, it doesn't come out. But once I am given that opportunity, once I start, after that it's very simple for me. For me, the start is a very big issue. Just starting the conversation, that small talk is an issue. Rest all is easy for me.
Vishal, thank you for saying that, and thank you for asking this as a question, because I felt like this is me. This is the exact same problem that I face. So I want to know the answer for this as well. Yes, Christina, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Sorry I did not talk before this because I couldn't talk. I just got home. Was happy to listen to what you guys were saying. And in regards to this, I mean, I'm not the small talk expert, of course. I'm also kind of shy and getting into small talk as well, like trying to understand how to properly do it without like saying weird things out of nowhere, right? Without context. And I think the most important thing when it comes to small talk and like getting out there is specifically context. Like maybe you have something in mind, some kind of joke, some kind of phrase, something like this. But the people you're talking to, especially if you don't know them, like this is the first time talking to them, maybe they don't have the same context as you. Maybe you make a joke about, I don't know, Avatar, you make a joke about anime, and of course those people are not going to know what you're talking about. So I think the most important thing is test the waters and understand what types of topics that person likes to talk about, and if you have something in common, then kind of get to those type of topics. But I think the most important thing is not trying to kind of be that person's favorite person as soon as you talk to them, because this is going to be impossible, right? I think you should warm up to people, and this is something that has been true to me for a long time. I mean, with my best friend, I don't even remember what we talked about the first time we met. I have no idea how we grew to be best friends. It just like happened because over time we just kept small talking, and with time things come through that we have many things in common. So I think you just have to test your waters and understand, and it's fine if you are not somebody's favorite person at first glance. So yeah.
I love what you said there. Um, and I think the challenge that I face there, and now I'm thinking about, even when we go to get together to some friend house where five other families are there, I tend to not able to participate, knowing that they probably know more than me, and then whether or not what I'm about to say is right or wrong. So I don't know why, but it kind of hold me back a lot, uh, because of that one thing. So with that, I will go to Utpa.
First of all, shout out to Christina. I know she's been going in and out because I believe she's still having issue with her connectivity. but but shout out to Christina. She's fabulous. She's amazing. She's really active in Twitter, so you do follow her. She's dropping a lot of gems. Second is Ravi. Ravi had came into my space yesterday, so we had so much fun. Even it was just open space. So shout out to y'all. And then Vinod, oh my god, dude, this is the sixth episode and we're going strong. So shout out to you, kudos to you. You're doing a great job. So going back,
Man, I am just amazed
Hello.
and feel so powerful for that consistency. This is the number six. So thank you.
Yeah, man, definitely, definitely, definitely. Going back to the topic, right? So I believe that small talk do require a lot of like confidence, right? Even though in order to communicate with someone, the only easier way to do it, what come by nature, is if you're really talkative. If you're someone who's really talkative, right, then this becomes a second nature, right? You just like
Hello.
speaking. Hello, how are you?
Hi, man.
Hey, hey, what up, man? Sorry, I was actually speaking. Do you mind muting your mic for a little bit until we call your name?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Sure, sure, no problem, man. Thank you for so much coming in. Um, so going back, so basically, if you're a really talkative person, right, you might come across it becomes your second nature, right? Like talking to anyone, it'll be like, hey, just like talking to someone, right? And small talk does not matter. Small talk can turn into a long talk for freaking hours. No worry about that, right? But it comes down to someone who's really like shy or more like introvert, right? Who doesn't speak much. They only speak if it's necessary, right? They're really like close people, like just work, they just mind their own business and working, right? That's a really challenging for them to go and create a small talk. What I find, and I used to be introvert, and then now I turn into an extrovert, right? I used to be introvert. I would used to be like in my man cave, sitting there working, not going out, not being like talking to people, whatnot. And then how I build that is I actually start talking to random people, like just whether I'm in mall, whether I'm in my neighborhood, whatever I am, I just want to talk, right? I don't care. Like if it even if it doesn't make sense, I talk. Not to want to like give people advice and this and that. Just wanted to build that confidence that hey, I can talk, even if it doesn't make any sense. I just want to be able to talk and build that that communication thing into meets that way when I try to approach someone next time, it becomes my second nature. I don't have to think twice to even to talk to someone, right? So the point what I'm trying to make is if you're someone like this, you need to go out and talk to people. Doesn't have to be a coworker, doesn't have to be your someone you work with or maybe you're doing a project with. It's just randomly go out there, talk to people, build that confidence. Once you have that, trust me, you don't even have to think when you start to say small talk. I start small talk with anyone in the building, anyone over here, no problem with that. Even if it doesn't not if, even if they're talking and it doesn't make sense to me, I still be able to ask question. I was like, all right, man, I missed that. Can you elaborate on what you were saying? I'm kind of like curious enough to learn what you guys are talking about. These, if you're not sure what they're talking about, ask question and being put yourself in there in the conversation forcefully. Even if you have to do forcefully, do it for the sake of like being in a conversation, right? But then again, it's all come down to the controversial topic, right? Because if there's some people are talking too personal, then you want to stay away, right? You don't want to be sticking your nose every conversation, right? If they're too personal, stay away. But if they're talking that you overheard that, hey, they're talking about something about GitHub. Oh, okay, let me jump in. Maybe I can provide some value. Maybe I can get some value, right? It's all depend what's the context of their conversation and how can you contribute into it or be part of their conversation.
Here was the entire master class in last 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
No way, bro. Are you kidding me?
No, seriously, you're a living example. By the way, I came to, I, maybe this is the fifth, sixth. We know, Udma and I know each other for less than 2 months, and then his personality, the way he talk, the way he make other person comfortable is tremendous. And then as he shared everything that he shared in his suggestion, he actually do that. um, so kudos to you. Practical advice. uh, One thing that I would say that you talk about is the finding the common interest, and that goes a long way. And then second is the practice. Practice with your friend, practice with your family, practice with your mirror, practice with your a small group of people who you already know, and then keep growing from there. And just so I highlight, it sound easy, but when I was in engineering college, I had a group of really close friend, my roommates, and I would listen to them for a long time before I make a comment or contribution. And I was named as a spatial commentator who speak after a very long time, and my comments was either humorous or some information or something, but I was mostly listener, which brought to another great point that Anudba touched on it. When you're doing the small talk, you don't actually have to do all the talking or any of the talking. You can be a very active listener. People love talking about themselves. So if you ask an open ended question, if you ask them about their opinion about yesterday match or something, right? You all you have to do is to then listen, and then active listen, and then you can contribute back. But that's another great method for the small talks. With that, we shall.
I just like right now after Udba told, like I am just feeling, I don't know if it'll happen or not, but I am just feeling to go out and talk to everyone in my society. So that is the kind of motivation that he has given me. But I had a follow-up question for Udba. Like, okay, in office you'll discuss about GitHub and everything. Like you told you're talking to people everywhere. So like I'll give you my example. Like I go in my building, I go somewhere or I go outside on the street and I see someone. Like, how do you just go and tell? Like, do you just go and hey, I'm Udba, or like how do you start? Like, do you have any example template?
To be honest with you, if I go someone and you don't want to be formal with people, right? Unless if they're like people in your company, or maybe you're working with like coworkers or maybe colleagues, that we what you call it. It's then yeah, you don't want to be like too. You have to stay a little bit more professional, casual but professional, right? Me, I when I if no one is from my company or something, and if I'm talking to someone maybe on the street, maybe somewhere in the mall, somewhere in my neighborhood, I literally start by yelling at them like, "Yo, what's going on, buddy? How you doing? Like, you chilling? Like, try to come up." I'm not saying you have to talk like literally like hood English. I do that sometimes. It makes me feel comfortable, right? And then, but don't want to approach someone like in a professional way. You can be casual, right? Start a little like if I talk to Christina, I'm not gonna be like, "Hey, Christina, my name is Utba. I'm over here. Can what about you? Where you?" Nah, 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 nah. I'll be like, "Hey, man, I see you on the Twitter all the time. You're dropping all this jam. I love it. Can you talk more about it? Like, I really want to learn what you're learning now right now. Maybe I could easily relate to you or something like." Start a normal conversation. Doesn't have to be like, oh, I have to watch out my words, what I'm gonna say. Like, oh, I hope they don't mind or something. No, 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 no. The more you think, trust me, it's already too late. That person is already walking away, right? So you want to start conversation casually, and then but if it's but if it's you have to watch out. If it's a guy, be casual. Even if you want to curse at them, like, and start with the bad words, do it, no problem. If it's a girl, you got to watch out because you have to maintain that respect, right? For a girl. That's me personally. I like to maintain that respect for ladies, so but you can be super casual. That's the whole point. That's how you build confidence. Don't worry if your English is not your first language. Trust me, have a conversation with a lot of people who doesn't speak English in sign language and still manage to do a conversation with them. And just to clarify, I don't know sign language, but you know what I mean.
Great point. Vishal, do you have anything to respond to that? Any follow up question?
I don't have a follow-up question, but I'll try implementing that, and I'll go back to Udva after my experiment fails or passes. But I see that we have a lot of listeners who are requesting mic and then they are canceling it. So you do not cancel it. If you're requesting mic, you can ask the questions. We all are, super scared introverts here. It's an open space. Nothing is gonna happen. You can ask your questions. So please request for mic.
And I want to welcome Ravi ji on the stage. Christine, thank you so much for joining. Let me accept Christina request. I think her network is bouncy. Um, Timo, thank you. Jara, the girl who code. I have been with you in a couple of spaces, so I'm really happy that you have joined. Ego, see, I pronounced your name correctly because I've been with you for at least two or three spaces and uh, learned it. Hopefully, I did. So, welcome everyone. One request to all that please retweet this space so more people will know about it. Um, so, please share with your friends. Please retweet. Please message. Um, and then I'm gonna bring us back to the topic. We are talking about how we can do a small talk with everyone, especially if you're an introvert junior developer. Um, now, um, Vishal going to try these things. Vishal, please do not explain GitHub to your building watchman. That's probably not the right small talk. And second is this, which is my personal experience, that sometime you get really pumped and inspired, and I am like how Udba talk, right? And I have tried that where I was really energetic, and I had a very good conversation with my office colleague or somebody I met in a conference. But what happened that changes when this become a friendship or something. um, so bring your authenticity, bring how you normally talk, and then apply everything that Udba has said, and I think that's what he said, that be be your authentic self so that you can have uh, that conversation and you can kind of be who you are. I can do this, actually do this when I'm in the meeting, an in-person meeting, and I enter in a meeting, then I try to find a person on the other side of the room, and I try to do what Udbay said, hey, how are you, and something like that. And that goes a very long way, because when I enter a meeting room, especially big meeting with a lot of folks or executive, obviously you have to be there before the meeting start. But what happened because of that, that every many people look at me and I create immediate presence. And then obviously contribution during the meeting is important, because you don't want to create a attention presence and then you're not talking much there. Anyway, with that, Udba has something to say. So Udba, Mike, back to you.
Yeah, I wanted to add one more thing about like small talk, but then at company, like the where you work at, company policy or company. I would say the environment is really important too, because some company are super casual. They the company I work at, they're super chill, and I mean, I don't want to name the company, but I can tell you like when it's turned 12 o'clock, everyone is opening their beer. Literally, they're drinking beer and working. So you can tell how much chill the environment is, right? It's all come down to your company's like environment, where you working at. Some company may be too focused, right? They don't like all these like not, casual talk. They're super like close minded, and then they just want you to work and then go home pretty much. There is a company like that. I'm not saying there's not, but majority of it's all like the point that I'm trying to make. It's if you want to be small talk with someone and you want to be a little bit more frank, make sure you know what's your company environment is, how people are. Make sure you observe them before you have a conversation with someone. It's really important to observe people too, because maybe I'm probably talking to Vinod. Maybe Vinod doesn't like to talk to so many people, and I'm having a conversation, and next thing you know, he just walk away, and I'm like over here, like, yo, like, did I do something wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. It's just that maybe there's someone's personality. It's like that, right? So you always have to watch out to people's personality. People observe people, listen to people, and then when you know that okay, this person somehow kind of like open, he just wants to be close at certain point. Okay, I understand now. I can have a conversation with him according to how he is, right? But that shouldn't change you. You should stay as you are. Don't change yourself for someone else. Like, hey man, like this guy is quiet. Okay, I'm gonna stay quiet. I'm not gonna talk. No, still talk to him. Maybe he finds something interesting, right? But always remember, some people are grumpy. So you once it comes to grumpy part, you want to stay away, right? That's all I'm gonna say.
Great points. Great points. Thank you, Udba. I want to welcome people on the stage. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I would love to hear your experience and your struggle or your suggestion about a small talk. So, if anyone, um, Vaishnavi, welcome. Another backend developer. I love backend developers. They are the real developer, by the way. I'm just kidding. That's
You're
not the
getting a
right way to
lot of
start
hate for this,
the
bro. You're gonna get a lot of hate for this.
I think they are the most introvert species in the developer community.
See? I made Vaishnavi talk. What are you talking about, Udva?
Now I'm just saying, there's a lot of people who do front end. They might find offended. So
I know Sandeepan are already giving me thumbs down. Christina is giving me thumbs down. This is a very good small talk topic in your team. As long as you're respectful and you genuinely respect other people, other
by the
developers.
way, you just gave the small talk example too, just now. By saying that, that's a small talk. See how many people got participated in your conversation? That's a small talk. That's an example right there.
See, I got Udba Guru approval. So, Vaishnavi, if you want to share, as you said, you are back end are introvert, and if you are one, would you like to share your experience, your struggles, or your suggestion? If not, that's fine.
Yeah, sure. So I am a SD1 in my company, and I think I am an introvert. But the problem I faced in my company was many senior guys and many front end devs. I'm sorry, but they try to talk to me like just let us cross the wall. You should share your thoughts as well. You shouldn't hesitate asking about anything. I work in a and I work in a startup, and startup culture, a very close team of people. So they actually are your friends and colleagues. So many times I faced a situation where I didn't want to open up, but I was getting a lot of pressure to enjoy and party with them. And up in the work scenario, I should also share my problem and should not solve on my own. So I think that's the main issue I felt. So I used to do the small talk, but I think I have developed myself in a way to set the context first, and talk a lot about the work, and get to know them better. So this helped me in understanding the way they are working and the way they are trying to approach the problem. And that actually helped me to think more about the problem in other people's way. So I think that made me a good developer. But yeah, small talks are best, I think. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you, Vaishnavi, for sharing that. One thing that I can relate to 100% is people who can talk, they always kind of say that it's easy, do it. Udva is doing that here. So it's easy, you can do it. But the people who are introvert, the people who actually not able to do it, it's, I don't know why it's too big of a deal. Same thing here with front end and back end. By the way, I'm saying some that because I have a lot of experience, right? And I have worked with all different type of people, like back end, front end, web, iOS, and Android. Everybody's in my team. I respect them all. But when I was senior developer, this is the struggle that I face. I cannot do CSS. I still cannot do CSS, even in the WordPress or anything, where I can take it to a level, and then when the UX team members say that that line has to match with this line, and they have to be in under whatever pixel and all, and said this page is working, you need the data to display and then data to go across the different layers and the backend. My backend has 4 layers. It goes, I have the backend validation, I have an excellent exception handling, I have logs that take care of, I have this log that so dynamic that I can change one configuration setting, and it can increase the number of log that I want to create in database and file and all that, right? And then the database, I'm so proud of how good this database. And my, I don't, and another last thing, I don't use cursor, I use variables and tables and all. So I can go on and on about my inability to handle the front end, and then ability to handle the back end. But the point here is, people who can do small talks, or people who can make real good connection with other people, sometimes they don't feel the struggle that we go through. Similarly to the UX people who would not understand the struggle that we go through, back end people go through with the front end, even to comprehend why it is so necessary. And then same thing with, I'm sure, back end, sorry, front end devs would have the similar type of experience with backend, where we would think, yeah, it's 4 layers, it goes this, this is how it goes, and this is how the port work between the layers and things like that, right? So anyway, um, that was a great point, Vaishnavi, that you brought that struggle. And then I like how you able to nail down some of the topic that you can have the talk, and you managing your way around. I hope some of the conversation that we will have today will help increasing those number of topic, increasing number of those small conversation for you. And now with so much time and experience, I know that they were not that difficult to handle as I thought many years ago. So I hope today's conversation will help picking up some of the topics. So welcome everyone. We are talking about a small talk for introvert junior developer. We spoke about what it is, and then we are talking about why and how we can do so, hoping that there will be more element that everybody can do. If you just joining, this is an open space, you can request the mic, and then please share, retweet, share it with other people so more people can know about it. With that, I will hand over mic to Timo. Welcome, Timo.
Hey, hello everyone, and thanks, for letting me back up here. And I'll just have a few pointers. Um, First of all, there's a there's a massive difference also about this topic of small talk. For instance, here in Northern Europe, where I am from, basically all the Scandinavian countries, this is already soapboxing. So I'm an extrovert person, uh, but then when I went to the States to uh, study for a year, uh, it was horrible because everyone was approaching you, everyone was asking how's your day and how are you doing and whatever. When you're like buying shoes, somebody's just asking about your day, and it's just horrible for me. Just I have this like a arm wide bubble around me. Don't come near me, please. I'm shopping shoes. Same with the company and the school. So it's highly dependent on where in the world you are also, and then if you go for remote positions, you might find yourself in in a totally different environment when discussing on even on like Teams meetings can get intimidating for people who are introverted. But always remember, if you feel that you're introverted, you might not be. It's just new environments get us all kind of like iffy and jumpy. So just try to push through it, and it's better as a junior to open your mouth and just even like make the air go through your lips, and there's gonna be some sounds that somebody's gonna realize and then ask what are you saying or what's your question, and it's the key element in all work life is basically, and in relationships in general, is communication. So try your best, and there's nothing to lose really, especially in work environment. Who cares if you say something silly? If you're just a junior developer, you're just learning the ropes. So it's better to ask than stay quiet because you kind of feel like shy, even though you might not be. But it's just yeah, all power to you who can force through it. I'm soapboxing, so I'll just let someone else talk.
Thank you, Timo. Those are really practical advices. Thank you for sharing. And Timo has a commitment during Sundays, but he still join us, and I'm really grateful for that. Um, it is the time for he and his dog. So Timo, I'm really grateful that you always support me, always join me.
Yeah, no problem. I'm here out in the woods. It's wonderful evening. Uh, so yeah, fresh air and we know it's space. What could be better ending for the Sunday?
Just look
Thank
out
you.
for
That
those
should mean a
ghosts,
lot.
though. Just look out for those ghosts. Just don't get disappear.
No, just have a small talk with them.
Yeah, I can soapbox any ghosts or goblins in the forest.
So Vishal, I guess you have a follow up for Timo. So go ahead.
Uh, I did not have a follow up. I see so many hands. So I just wanted to say one thing, that we have a lot of audience here. So if you can please retweet the pinned tweet so that it reaches more people who are in same situation, so that more introverts who are in this problem can join and listen to us, as well as those who have been there and solved that issue, they can come and share their experience. So I wanted to request everyone to please retweet the pinned tweet, and we will go in order. So I see Nakul has raised his hand from quite some while. So we will go to Nakul, we'll go to Viz, and then we'll go to Christina. Go ahead, Nakul.
Thank you, Vishal. Hey, everyone. I want to express my thoughts on the words that Vishal and Udba have told, that we just don't start small talk with controversial things, because other person may have the different opinion on that. So that will backfire on us or embarrass us to start with. So I think it's, and I would like to appreciate the Timo that he told, as a junior we don't have nothing to lose. So that's it. That's I wanted to tell. Thank you, everyone. And I would like to share, this is my first like space I have opened my mic. So thank you, everyone.
Yay, big shout out to Nakul. Thank you, Nakul. If this space helped one person to start small talk, our purpose will be solved. And I hope, Nakul, this space has helped you. Yeah. Congratulations for your first talk.
Thank you, Vinod sir.
Wiz, you can go ahead with your question.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Did you have anything? Your hand was up, so
Oh,
check.
the the flow as post caught me off guard because I was straight up asking like what's popping, like how you doing, that type of stuff. Um,
Okay.
but as far as the comment I have to make on the topic at hand, I think that Spaces is actually a pretty neat tool for discoverability purposes and just talking to people that you otherwise would not be able to. And particularly for me as a polyglot, um, a lot of what I find useful with this tool is that you actually get to improve your ability to understand people. And what I mean by that is when I don't know if I'm the only one that notices this phenomenon, but on Twitter there seems to be a weird complex of I'm wrong, you're right, I'm right, you're wrong kind of thing. And specifically when you touch a hot topic kind of thing. And as a matter of fact, I think Christina, they did a tweet about something about a coding language sucking or something like that. And I know it was in good faith, but you know, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that tend to take that too seriously, and they will actually go to town and you know, and raid these replies or quote tweet something to death. But hey, as far as Twitter is concerned, that's basically free marketing. Like just piss people off enough, and they'll basically make your account blow up. But on the idea of being able to make small talk, I'm actually curious to know whether or not this is actually a thing that people seek out on here. Because from what I understand, a lot of the folks that are in the space are business professionals, and they're not exactly looking to make friends. But then again, that's my personal experience, and I feel like small talk is more so reserved for circles of people that are actually friends and not really strangers, quote unquote. So if anyone could enlighten me on that part, that would be very much appreciated. Thanks.
Thank you, Wiz. Seriously, very good insight there. I didn't see the tweet that you're talking about, but I will go and check that. But maybe today, by what I accidentally said or humorously said, maybe that will blow my account up. Just kidding. I
Oh yeah,
don't want to.
actually I found it. Christina said, "Can we just start ignoring Safari in web development, just like we did with Internet
Oh yeah,
Explorer?"
yeah, yeah. I did that.
And
Yeah.
and as of now, that tweet has well over 1,000 likes, and I'm assuming the people responding to it are saying that why would you say that? Like that's offensive, that kind of thing. But again, that's Twitter for you.
Oh, I responded to that with some facts. A screenshot of the Advent Health account, which is like 500 active, well, 1 million active users and 2 million total accounts. And then the stats is Safari is still number one there. And the reason I just got that because we was for October 29 release, we don't have much time. So I was trying to see if we can shrink the number of browser that we test to a minimum. And out of the blue, the Safari came and said, "No, So anyway, I remember that tweet. I responded to it. Christina, mic to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Wiz, for putting me on the spot on the tweet. Actually, most of the time when I say things like this is like literally not that deep. I mean, I think people tend to take Twitter a little bit too serious. I mean, most of the times with tech and stuff like this, we say things because we're frustrated or we just like don't want to work on something for so long, especially when it's something that seems not necessarily superficial and stuff, but I don't know, something that you wish wasn't a reality, but it is. So yeah, I think people take Twitter too seriously, and when it comes to those things, it's just like impulsive stuff that you think, I wish, blah 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 blah, etc. You know, and you just ask the question. When you were saying on regards with the fact that we are here all professionals in the field and stuff, I'm personally not. I'm somebody that is learning. And outside of Twitter, I have nothing to do with tech because I don't have a tech job just yet. So being in spaces and doing small talk and stuff like this really is helping me to understand the kind of the tech jargon and to understand what is important to people in tech, since I'm trying to become a person in tech and stuff like this, and I'm trying to kind of warm up to people and make friends, because this is something, tech is something that I'm passionate about. So I would like to like share this passion with other people as well. So um, I think we are here. At least I'm here because of this, because I want to make friends in tech, and this is why I created like Twitter in the first place, because I know Twitter is like a very good space where you can have like a community, and I know that there is a big tech community on Twitter, and this is why I joined. And something I wanted to say that slipped my mind because I was answering to Wiz right now. I will just keep my, when I remember it, I will up my hand again. So yeah. Anyways, so I hope I answered you, Wiz. I mean, tell me, what do you think?
Well, for starters, I use social media really for marketing purposes. I never really thought of it as a tool to meet people because the whole classic rule stranger danger kind of thing. Um, for context, by the way, I'm from the '90s era, so that was basically pre iPhone, pre .com bubble, basically pre everything. And I don't know. For me, it was a very much of a case of it's a great place to learn things and to share information. But I feel like on the note of making friends, I think a lot of people can get the relationships that happen on the internet wrong, because if you take influencers for example, they do this thing a lot, where they leverage the parasocial relationship that they have with their followers as a means to sell them something, right? And I'm not here to debate whether it's right or wrong. I'm only here pointing out the fact that the people that typically have a large platform specifically because they're using verbiage that typically make you feel as if you're their friend when you're really not. So I'm very aware of that, and everyone from every sphere uses it. Twitch streamers do that, YouTubers do it, and definitely Twitter influencers do it. So you won't really catch me in the replies of somebody trying to, become their friends, and definitely not on Spaces even. I think even the concept of a friend, social media has watered that down way too much, and I think we have Facebook to blame for that one. This idea that you can send a friend request, I think really distorts the perception of what a friend actually is, because some of these accounts you follow, I'm sure you don't even know who these people are, right? And if you call them friends, if they were to disappear, would you worry about them? Would you care? Would that affect you? Probably not. So I think it's more of a case of being specific about what relationship you have with people and maintaining boundaries, and staying professional when necessary. That's it.
That was deep, Which. And just for the record, when there was a hurricane here, I was worried about Utba, and I would have missed him.
Bruh. Bruh. I was worried about you too. I was like, man, if this guy's gonna survive or not. Like, did I get to see him ever again, or it was just a Twitter meet? Like, what the hell?
But you're absolutely right. There are all different type of people here, and then I think the connection and network and connection, I guess, probably the right word. That instead of the friend, we are making connections, and then some people turn into a friends, and some professional friends, and some stay as connection. And in general, actually, connection is a very powerful word where you can get the business offers, you can get clients, you can get job offers, and all different type of things just with the connection. So you're right. Um, Connection probably the better word, and it is powerful. And your small talks can help making connections. And as we previously talked, if a junior developer looking for a job, they want three different type of connections and all, recruiters, hiring managers, and other developers. And some of them may turn into a friendship as well. Otherwise, even if it is the connection, you are helping them, they are helping you, you know more people. And yeah, you're dropping so many wisdom bombs here, Wiz.
I definitely did not intend to do that. I'm just sharing my honest to God experience on the internet in general because unfortunately there are a lot of toxic things that I try to avoid when I can.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you for that. Um, Deepika has her hand up for some time and then she's not. So, Deepika, if you
Still,
have something to share, go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
actually wanted to share that like being an introvert, the problem I face is like when you join something new, like college or an office, then I try to initiate talk. I try to talk to them, but some of them talk and some of them don't. And then, like, if I don't feel that they're vibing with me, so then I don't really interact with them. And this makes me like exclude from that group of people who are vibing. And this way, I'm not able to grow in a way, you can say that. So, what do you think I should do in such situations? Like when you have to interact with people in offices or college, like there's some diplomacy or politics, you can say. So, what do you think I should do in such cases?
That's a great question, and I wish if someone else answered that question.
Can I take this on real quick? Because
Yeah, sure.
I I've entered the academic circles, but not as a formal student, more so as a tutor, and I can tell you the same dynamics I'm speaking about. I think it exists over there too, where you I think being specific with the intentions is really what's going to save you a lot of trouble because you'll realize unfortunately sometimes you'll spend 4 years with people that you've seen every day and that proximity perhaps might make you think that they're friends when as soon as college is over then they just disappear and now you're kind of left thinking, well, did I do something wrong when you probably didn't. So getting to know people for me is really as simple as taking that step of getting to know their interest and then exploring that exploring that mutually so that say it's sports, for example, if you meet people that are into volleyball, it would probably be in your best interest to plan out a day or two out of your week to join them when they do play. And during that time, there's a lot of opportunities to actually get to know them beyond the classroom. And on that topic of beyond the classroom, there's this concept known specifically as third places. It's this idea that a third place is a place that's not your job and not your home. So a place away from home, if you will. So think of the barbershop, the local library, even music venues in some capacity. That would all fit the bill of of a third place, and sports as well definitely fills that role, so that the context and the pressure that usually come in a professional setting is now removed, and you can actually be yourself, and people can see you as yourself, and they can then choose to engage with you accordingly. So that's really what I found is the most helpful way to get to know people.
Uh, Thank you, Wiz. Like I have been hearing to Wiz from quite some time, and all of the things he's speaking some great points, like the Facebook friend point which he mentioned, or right now, which the point which he mentioned, like it's incredible. And I was just I it just makes me think sometimes, and I'm feeling very good thinking from that perspective. And I see that we have Vaishnavi again in the listener section. She had her hand raised. So if you have the same doubt, you can come on to the stage, Vaishnavi. And we'll go to Christina next because I think she got her doubt finally.
Yeah, I finally remembered what I wanted to say before. It was the fact that small talk is a skill. I mean, most of the things that we do essentially are skills we develop without even realizing as small kids. And of course, we are going to grow up in an environment where we are kind of set up to be introverted, or we kind of are introverted for various reasons, we are not going to develop the skills of small talk whilst when we become older and we kind of realize that we lack this skill and we lack the opportunity to meet more people because we are fearful, we are doubtful about whether or not people are going to accept us, or whether or not we are going to be able to like have a great conversation with somebody on the go. I think the thing to keep in mind and to remember is that it is a skill, and we did not, maybe we failed and we did not have the opportunity to develop it as we were young, but we still have time to develop it now as adults. Maybe it is going to be a little bit less easier and more difficult, but we have the advantage of being adults and the advantage of understanding and reading social situations much better than we were young. So maybe we can still develop the skill and we can do it proficiently in a few years maybe, or along the line of like living life every day. And I think we have many opportunities to do so, not only at work, but as Wiz was saying, in different contexts that is not our home or our job, like going shopping or going to go groceries and talking to somebody there that is on the aisle near us and things like this. I think we should keep in mind that we are not static people. We can change, and we want to change and we put our mind to it, I think we can absolutely do so.
Uh, Next, I wanted to go to Udba because I don't know, he was laughing and then he had his hand raised and then he stopped laughing. So, Udba, do you have anything to say or should we go to the other people?
Nah, you can go. I just wanted to welcome Michael to the stage. My man Michael in the building. What's good, man?
And
Yo,
Ego is also on the stage. So thank you. I felt like you when you came on the stage, I thought you have some points for Deepika, but take your time whenever you're ready.
yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, it's Hey Node. Yeah, I actually has something, but I figured out that I think what I wanted to say has been expressed in another form, so I just I just hold. But I will be talking to Wiz, I think, later on. Just continue.
Um, just a small announcement. I have a listener here, Musa, who has requested, but I'm unable to accept his request. So, Musa, can you exit and rejoin? So then I'll be able to accept your request. Yeah, we'll next go to Timo.
Yeah, I just have a few experiences when it comes to like informational bias on certain things, on certain settings, like which was talking about the world of academia. It's harsh. I work in the uh, authority place where everything is pretty much very highly educated, and the subtle art of fuck yous in academia life are still there, live and kicking. But what I wanted to say is that the bias that we get about when we when we do like evaluation of a person when you first meet them or hear them talk or whatever is something that's very hard to then disqualify if you find out something later. And this is something that you can work for positive, but it can also be a negative. But my two examples are for when I joined the defensive forces, as here it's mandatory for all males over 18 to join the army when they're done their high school and whatnot. So when I joined the defensive forces, the first day was a hassle, but after like when you find your room and your bunk and you just get on that camo gear, and for the next 6 to 18 months you're stuck with these people who have the same clothes, and you're going through the same shit, the same brutal physical and mental uh, endeavor and adventure that what army is, and you bond with these people. But the most hysterical part was the day that we were were discharged and led home, and everyone had their civil gear on, because when we went to the vacations away from the compound and came back, we always had to wear the uniforms. So we never saw each other with like the civil clothes. And then when that the last day came, and like some of my best friends had clothes on that belonged to a group that listen to certain kind of music and have certain kind of probable values in my BS mind. It was quite amazing that I had bonded with those people, and we were like the best of friends. And had I met them anywhere in any other situation, I would never even gone out and talked to them, just because of my bias against a group of people that might be having a lot of different worldviews than me. And the other incident was me working for a decade in a hospital environment in an ER situation where it didn't really matter when people were dying whose coat is the longest and who's doing this and that. We were always team and high-fiving and whatever if we were managed to save a patient or had the patient go onwards to operation room or whatever. But when again when you meet those people with their normal clothes on in like an in that third place, usually like beers after work or something, you're like, oh, okay, this dude is or this girl is dressing up weird, and wow, such a nice person, but I would probably never talk to that unless I would work. But the thing is that when everyone's wearing the same gear, it kind of like kills all the bias and assumptions and like bad, so not maybe bad, but like I don't know the word in English, but like a thought that, oh, this person, I wouldn't really want to talk to that person because of this and that uh, possible ideology difference. So yeah, when you're in a work environment where everyone's wearing their normal clothes, well, usually they might have some like better clothes at work, but everyone's not suited up or anything. So, and I work remotely nowadays, but it's a whole different ball game. You already had those. Oh, that's a weird looking dude or whatever. So then you might not go and talk to that person just because you have like a prejudice thoughts about his way of walking or talking or dressing up or whatever. So always remember that it's a chance to meet people and try to avoid conflict and don't let yourself be fooled. There are great people in all kinds of walks of life. Now my dog
Bro,
is
you're not
barking, so I'll
talking
just quit.
small talk with your dog. He's barking in the back, bro.
Yeah,
He want to join. He wants to contribute to the space.
yeah. Dog wants to
Let him
soapbox too.
join. We'd love to hear him.
The Jack Russell is barking at whatever he sees and I can't see and smell.
And one of the great point from your from what you have shared, I have seen again and again the first impression about somebody in office or somebody in an event or neighbor or now spaces, it changes. It changes. Some of my best friends in office in my 9 to 5 jobs are the one that gave me a vibe during the first interaction or first week that they are either arrogant or have some personality that I may not like. But then turned out that was my perception based on whatever act or mood that they have on that particular day. But then they were completely different people. So, great point right there.
So we have Mad and Musa on the stage with their hands raised. But before that, I see a lot of people in the listener section who have like 7+ years of experience and 10+ years of experience. So I would request you all to please come to the stage and give us some tips of how if you're an extrovert, how do you start that conversation, and if you have been an introvert, how did you tackle that situation, and it'll really help all of us. So. Continuing, we'll first go to Musa, then we'll go to Matt, and then we'll go to Viz. Go ahead,
And
Musa.
and shout out to Alex and Mel.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for this humble opportunity. My name is Musa. I would like to address this issue in a very humble and kind of intellectual manner, because this is an issue. I've been attending this ALX program, and there's one thing I noticed, and it's something I also noticed during my campus days, that you find mostly those in the tech field. Somebody is very good in terms of, maybe he's a full stack developer, is very good at what he does. But now the challenge comes into a place whereby he or she has been given a project to, like, maybe lead a project, or maybe now do a presentation. Now that's where now the problem comes in. And I wouldn't really say sometimes there's that time that, for me personally, I would love to have that peace of mind and do my stuff without getting disturbed. But getting to have people around you and you guys, you tend to do things together, it's actually a big plus. um just to go on a bit,
I think this is a bigger issue because mostly guys in tech. I've had several of my friends who were lucky to get employment opportunities. Getting to interact for them, getting to interact in that office environment is quite a problem. So you find that the employers like, guy, you're very good, but now you, in terms of interacting and building that rapport with your fellow employees, it is a problem. Like, can you work on that and stuff like that? So in terms of getting to interact with guys, I think we make friends. We make friends based on people have different personalities. So for me, let me talk about myself. It depends which kind of environment where we met. Maybe we went for a tech event. Those are the friends I make based on the exposure that I had at the time. If I went to a footballing event, those are the friends I meet. And for me to keep you as a friend, it depends on what am I learning from you. The first 30 minutes of my conversation with you, how positive were you as a person? You understand? Because if you talk about bringing a lot of negative people, they bring negative. People who are negative minded, they bring negative energy. And I would actually emphasize for those who are not good, like in terms of making friends and stuff like that, just saying the word hello is a big plus, because once you get to greet the person, the conversation will continue from there. And the other thing is, for those who find it hard, like making friends, um, you might be very bright minded, but once you meet the right crowd, you'll find that you're making a good network. Yeah. And that good network, it brings about exposure. You understand? And now another thing that I would love to say lastly is, whenever you're trying to make friends, try as much as possible to make new friends each and every time, because if you have the same friends, same field, same things, you'll never get to learn new things. But if you meet different people from different backgrounds, you are like, you learn different things. What can I say? Can you say that you're being versatile, because you learn widely from different fields and you get to know much, and loopholes, and where you can apply one or two three things at different times. So I would really attribute for people to try and make friends as possible. Yeah, the small talks might might actually make something get bigger. So thank you so much, Vishal Shah, and I want to congratulate you. I've been following you for quite a time, and the work that you're doing is quite wonderful. Team Codes and the other brothers who are in the space. I'm a student. I'm originally from Nairobi, Kenya, doing my diploma in information communication technology. Looking forward to get into the field of software engineering and cybersecurity. Thank you so much, and have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Musa, for coming on the stage and just saying what you just said. Uh, we have couple of requests. I'm not able to accept it because the stage is full, but we'll go one by one to the next speakers. I think Mad was first, and then Viz, and then we have Mel. So go ahead, Mad.
And before you do that, big shout out to Vishal. This is his first space as a co-host, and you're doing amazing. Thank you, Vishal. Oh, and by the way, Mad, I don't know why he's name Mad, but his name is Michael.
Okay, I'm really sorry. So we'll go ahead with Michael, and then we'll go ahead with. If I'm really sorry, I'm just able to see usernames. If I click on the profile, my space will close. So I'll call you by usernames. Just pardon me. We'll go ahead with Michael first.
Hey, hey, Vishal. So it's fine. It's fine. You can say mad. It's fine. So it's MAD. So it's fine. All right. So you see, I've heard what we said, what Musa said, and everyone, and I'm just gonna put everything in the general context, right? So speaking about friends, like friends, you see, it's good to make friends. Like it is bound for us to relate. So we are being made to relate, right? So if you want to look at this, if you put 20 children in a room, at first they will hit each other because of that natural something, but as time goes on they will relate, they will augment, and they will start relating with each other, and start playing, and so that is who we ought to be, right? But as we grow, the knowledge we have, the things, the experiences that we have reshapes us, right? And gives us this kind of feelings. So, and another thing I want us to point out is that everybody has a personal lifestyle. You have your the way you live your life personally. If you're in your home, if you're alone, you have the way you live your life, right? So the life you live in your own space is different from the life you put outside there. That is just how we grow to find ourselves, right? So you don't do the way you do in your personal space and do the same thing at work. Now it's even that serious that even on our own social handle, right? We don't say the things that we say in our own space, we don't say it on our social handles because we now have reasons to question one another because of the knowledge that we've acquired along the line, right? But one thing that makes it sweet is that once you are able to find mutual, then the bridge will be built. So you once you can find mutual with somebody you meet on social media, the bridge will be built and you get comfortable with that person. Now all we need to do in order to have people relate with us and free mind is just to be comfortable with that person. Now, we don't get comfortable with somebody when they don't make us comfortable around them, right? So this is trying to tell us that in whatever we do, we should try to make ourselves comfortable, like to make people comfortable around us. Let's be accessible. Let people want to talk to you. So if you are accessible, people will say hello to you, and when they say hello to you and you give them that sweet response, you start saying something, and at the end of the day you find out that you are going to build a bridge, right? So, and one thing certain is that because we now have a different lifestyle in our work environment, so when somebody comes into the space newly and trying to show his real energy and trying to show his or her real self, we tend to question it because why? We already have this knowledge that hey, you're in a work environment, so you shouldn't be doing the way you're doing at home. And honestly, these are just the real people to make friends with because these are the people that are truthful. They just show you their true character. But because we already have these feelings that the way you should behave at work is different, why do we want to behave differently at work? The goal is to make everything run smoothly, right? Imagine if everybody is comfortable with each other. Imagine if everybody is hugging each other. Imagine if everybody is comfortable living the life they're living at home. There will be truth. People will say the truth, and people will embrace it because we already have this in our head that okay, there's the way you should behave in the office, and there's a way you should behave if you're at home, and there's a way you should behave if you are in a social environment and stuff like that. So now when we're going to the office, we pull off that that feelings of how we behave at home, we put it down, right? Then we now put on the behavior that we're going to be doing at work. And when somebody comes with what they do at home, we tend to say they are either, we say maybe they are rude, or we say something, or we just say a lot of things, right? Because we are not we don't feel comfortable, because we are now wearing something different that we call the work environment, lifestyles, things like that. So we just need to make everybody comfortable. Whenever someone is doing something, and whenever they are just being real, you should know they are being real, and just treat them like that. Because honestly, I used to say this thing, that people who act real are the best people to make friends with, because these people are not going to snitch on you. These people are going to be blunt with you. Now, and another thing that makes people don't want to start a conversation, or probably don't want to push the trigger of being friends, is that we are just being scared. A lot of time we're being scared. Like, what if I talk to this person and this person doesn't respond? Like, what if I talk to this person and this person just shun me? What if? Just do it already. Say hello already. And that's the deal. So we just need to put all of this fear out. And how do we even start that? We start from ourselves, right? Make people feel comfortable. Make yourself approachable. And when you make people feel comfortable, people will feel the same energy from you, and probably they will make themselves comfortable around you too. And hence, we're just going to experience the beautiful life. Life is beautiful if we are together, honestly.
Life is beautiful. You gotta talk a lot. Come on, man. Preach, bro. Preach. That's a preach right there, man. Amen to that, bro.
Whenever Michael speak, this is what
If
happens.
if there are people on the line, I have to do some stuff, so I probably will have to stop soapboxing. So I'll stay on the listener's side. Thanks for the opportunity to speak.
Okay, Timo. Okay, thanks.
Uh, Thank you so much, Michael. Like he made so many good points here. Like I joined two of Michael's spaces previously, and I don't know, in his spaces my mic doesn't work, so I'm listening and talking to him for the first time, and I loved all the points that he made. Also, I wanted to give a small shout out to Wiz, because if you go under in the comment section, he's summarizing each of our discussion, so that whoever comes, they can just go through that and then join the conversation easily. So thank you so much, Wiz, for all the lovely comments that you're making below the post. We see, like, I think you guys hands are paining right now, Mel and Wiz. So I don't know who was first. So we'll just go in ascending in alphabetical order. We'll go to Mel first, and then we'll go to Wiz. Go ahead, Mel.
Oh, hi. I heard someone say if you're an extrovert, come on up. So I came on up. um, it's interesting because it can go both ways. As an extrovert, I'm always outgoing. I always approach people. I always say hi. Sometimes, though, that can be a liability, especially in a workspace, because once you enter a workspace, you're dealing with a lot of different personalities. I mean, just to be real. And sometimes, when you're an extrovert and you're nice and you reach out, it can be competitive in a workspace. You don't know somebody's motives, and it's sad. Yeah, it it can be it is that way in some respects. And as an extrovert, I've kind of people make assumptions about you that have nothing, that totally they read you wrong. Like I have so many interests, and people will look at you on the outside and think there's no way like person would be interested in these things. And it's really hard as an extrovert to find people to really find all your interests, because I have a range in a lot of things. But I also see the point from an introvert side of it, as I know people who are introverts, and it's really hard to just reach out and say that hello and to meet people because of the nervousness, or if they're going to say the wrong thing, or how to approach people. And so I always kind of gravitate towards introverts more, just myself, because I always want to make people feel comfortable. to say hello, how they doing. I think I just I empathize a lot with people, and I've never been like with an in crowd, but I still am an extrovert. So just being outgoing sometimes it it isn't as it seems because someone looks at it at you at a different way. And as someone was saying earlier, the workplace, you can be a target. Someone might see you as coming, this person might be really good. They're not in the corner, working, but it's just a weird dynamic. It's that every workplace is different. Every social public place is different. Um, just kind of step outside yourself, meet new people from different cultures, because you never know what you might find. You never know who might have the same interests as you, and it's important just to spread your wings out.
Thank you so much, Mel. Like, I never thought that. To be honest, I never thought that extroverts also have any problem because they are always cool and just jumping around, talking to everyone. And if I would be like, it's not just the way you speak, but sometimes it's like when extroverts come to me and they talk to me and they start a conversation, I'm like all in. But sometimes it's the energy that you do not get the good vibe from a person when they first start their conversation, and I don't know, you cannot explain it, you just don't feel like talking to them for some reason. You don't get that vibe from them, so it's that. And I don't know, I never thought that extroverts also have this issue, so thank you for bringing this point up. It's a point like I never heard this point. I think Vinod has something to say, and then we'll go to the other speakers.
Yeah, I have a follow-up point on this. I was kind of the same thing that I guess just like grass is greener on the other side. So as a introvert, I didn't think that an extrovert would have that problem. But great insight. I wanted to ask Mel if you would share that some of the technique or some of the way you do small talk, which actually can help other people, especially introvert. Any tip, advice?
Yeah, I just like anytime I walk down a sidewalk or I just nod my head, I say good morning. How are you doing? Or if I'm in a store, I say, "Oh, that's a really good brand." Sometimes it might seem rude, and I kind of can see when people don't want to talk, but more times than not, people do want to talk, or they do want to like say, "Oh, really? Do you like this? Or what do you think of that?" And you'd be really surprised. So you can just kind of get that vibe. Um, it's just can just be a matter of, I really like your jacket. If you sincerely do, or it just nodding your head. I mean, just simple little eye contact. Sometimes a nod can be a greeting. Just little things like that can go a long way.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Viz, you can go ahead.
Oh, I think I heard several people speak at the same time. Could you say that one more time, please?
I just wanted to say that the point that Mel mentioned, like go and say good morning to someone. What I feel is when I go out and meet someone, I may not necessarily say those point out to someone, but inside I'm feeling, oh, hello. Like internally I'm saying hello to that person, or internally I'm telling, oh, nice jacket. I just do not tell it externally. So I I'll really push myself from now onwards to tell those points outside, not just tell them inside. Continuing the chat, we'll go to Wiz because we see his hand has been raised from quite a while.
Oh no, it's fine. I don't mind waiting. The contribution I wanted to make as far as the previous topic was concerned, to be honest, one of the things I keep in mind when interacting with people is the element of neurodiversity because fairly recently it occurred to me that not everyone interprets words the same way and social cues the same way. And folks that are typically on the neurodiversity spectrum are the ones suffering from that the most. So, when possible, I definitely try my best to accommodate them. And I also keep in mind, for me, as far as I'm concerned, to never really take anything people say seriously, regardless of the context it's said in, because again, that element of interpretation, I think it's very liberal and subjective, and what is said in one context might be very different to what someone else says in a different context. But for me, it's really a case of what the intent is. If the intent is clear that it's negative and that they're specifically looking to have an altercation, I'm just going to politely excuse myself and kind of keep it pushing. And that's a principle I actually picked up from martial arts. I think the stereotype is that if you're someone who learns how to fight, then you probably is someone that's actively looking to combat. That could not be further from the truth. If anything, the number one rule that you're taught in martial arts is to avoid fights at all cost, because it is a very serious thing. You know, there's legal repercussions, there's physical, mental repercussions, and I sort of adopt the same mentality when it comes to not just my interactions socially offline, but also online. I'll make a comment here and there, and the second I detect a hint of antagonistic behavior, I either block or I simply mute and I move on with my day. I think I have way too much for me to do on a regular basis for me to expend the energy to care about what someone has to say and trying to unleash that energy onto me. And Twitter, in particular, as a platform, is very guilty of that. People have this nasty habit to really target specific folks en masse and uh, harass them. That's a case I've heard a lot about, and DMs in particular, I'm very careful about as well, because I think some folks really make it a point to keep spamming you with notifications, and that is also something I had to step in actively and moderate so that I can have as smooth an experience as possible. And that's really the core idea here is curating your space online is as much as what you would do to curate your space in real life, especially in your home. The kind of behavior you would not tolerate in your home, I think that very much extend to the behavior you wouldn't tolerate in an online ecosystem and context. That's it.
I had a follow up not related to this topic on what Michael just told. Like, the thing with Twitter is people love to criticize you. It's the human nature of you. Like, we love criticizing others. We'll not see if someone does 100 things and he does 99 good things, we'll point out the one bad thing that he did. That's just human behavior, and people are the same on Twitter. That's the personality. Like, Christina was just here. We were discussing about one of her tweets, which, you say if you write 100 good tweets, nobody will care to like them, retweet them. But if you write one bad tweet, the world will come to fight you in the comments. For some reason, I don't know, the Twitter algorithm also pushes those negative tweets, and they go like, if like I'm right now in India, if I put a negative tweet, I'll get replies from America, from Africa, from all around the globe. But if I put a positive tweet, I'll not get the reply even from my neighbor. That's the Twitter algo. I don't know, for some reason. So moving on and just sticking to the topic, one more point that I wanted to mention was, which Udba made in the beginning, like, you should not change your personality just because you're an introvert and you want to just talk to someone. Just don't. If you are changing your personality, you will make things even worse for yourself, because it'll look completely fake to the front other person. So just be yourself, but make it moderate it according to the situation, according to the surrounding, according to the person who is in front of you. Just moderate your personality, don't change your personality. So Michael, you still have your hands up. Like, do you have something to say, or we'll go to Vinod next?
Hey, Vinod is the host. Let him talk.
I
Yeah,
I
sure.
I just wanted to acknowledge and Mel, what you said resonated with the listener. There are many comments in this space that talk about or response to what you shared. Big Guy said you made a really good point around extrovert and introvert. Then Akash said, great Great Space Love, and then Aziz, who is also in the speaker section, has said multiple things around how it resonated with you. So I just wanted to share that people really resonated with what you
Oh,
just
thank
said.
you. Yeah, I'm just we're starting to read that right now. Thank you. That's very much appreciated. Thank you.
Like I never knew it, but I think we should do a space on extroverts also. Extroverts, they also go through some problems. We never know. So we should do a space on extroverts as well. I never knew until today, to be honest, that extroverts also have an issues. I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
it's not so much issues, but yeah, extroverts we're human too, just as introverts. I mean, we all go through our experiences are. So yeah, it's very much true. We're all human at the end of the day.
I really like how you said it. We are human too. Thank you.
What? I missed that.
No, no, no. You just said that extroverts are human too. that that was humorous and real at the same
And
time.
just Mel made me speechless. Now I don't know how to reply back to
No,
that.
I
So
was
I'll
just
just move
because
on.
it's because in the space it's like an introvert, so I just was speaking out for the extroverts.
But yes, she made a really good point, and we had a really good discussion on that. Like this was completely unexpected, and it was very good. So I see like we have Azzy here, who has her hand
Oh,
raised, and
Michael.
I don't know, Michael, his hand is raised or is some bug. Michael, do you want to speak or is this some bug
Yeah,
again?
yeah, I want to talk to Mel. You see, Mel, people love extroverts. You see, all of those bad energies you're getting is not genuine. People love you. When you're not around, people miss you. You see, the thing is that because of the kind of knowledge that we have gotten, or something that has been, we experiences that we have had, and it just reshaped people, and people are more of hypocrites. So when you are doing something, being an extrovert, people love you. See, the same people that you are trying to talk to, that you are trying to make jokes with, these same people pay to watch people talk jokes on stage. So this people need that. You see, all of those energy you're giving, they need it, but they just wouldn't show you that genuinely they need it, right? People pay money to watch people perform. People pay money to watch people say comedy. So when you're giving them that energy, these people are loving it. But because of this kind of some experiences, actually, so it's natural because people pass through things, and some experiences they just want to keep that. And at the end of the day, I just want to let you to know that that bad energy, that negative energy that you are getting is not genuine. They don't genuinely hate you. No, they love you, but they just don't know how to say that they love you, right? And when you're not around, they miss you. They miss you. They want you to be around. So honestly, being an extrovert is something that is sweet because I don't know how simple to put this, but I just want to tell you that people always want you around.
Oh, but we need introverts too. You know, it's I get from both sides, and I empathize totally because I sometimes want to be alone when I'm really interested in something. People would tag me as an introvert, believe it or not. So
You see,
yeah.
Mel, one thing I still question within myself is that is there even something as an introvert? Introvert talks like they talks like I don't know how to put this. Like they talk so much when they get comfortable with you. I've had introverts that cry on me like he cry like he will cry he'll be crying and expects me to just say something like introverts talk they yell they shout they laugh
They're
in
human.
fact
We're all human.
yeah, that's what I'm trying. So they do all of these things, but the only thing is that when they just need to get comfortable with you. And once they are comfortable with you, in fact, you think you start questioning, are these people introverts? Look, honestly, it's just life. Like that's life. It's what it is.
So as we have this conversation a couple of times that they are human, which is all of us are, right? So if we go with I don't know if it is psychological definition or medical definition or what definition. The point is really right that they are all same. It's just how they gain or lose their energy. So introvert has to do some extra effort. It doesn't come naturally to them to face people, talk, be in a bigger audience or interacting with many people. It doesn't come naturally. And second, when they do it, they they can definitely do it. They when they do it, they lose energy, and then after that conversation happens, they have to go back and recharge. Compared to extrovert, they gain energy, and sometimes I say they suck energy from everyone, all those other people. They get excited, they get moving with those conversation. um, Me and my wife are same. I'm introvert and she's extrovert, and every time we talk, well, naturally she talks, I listen, work out very very well. But when we go out to, let's say, a friend house or someone, or get together, when we come back, I'm completely drained after this space, actually, for last 5 weeks. But she's more excited, even after that, like she's not tired. So anyway, I just wanted to put out there that what we are talking about is, it doesn't come naturally. They have to do some extra effort, they have to spend some energy. And this conversation is giving them some of the tips, some of the tool that they could use to make it more seamless, make it more effortless. And there has been so many great advice that has been already shared. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that. With that, Vishal, I don't know. Well, we go to Vish and then we go to Aziz.
Uh, Azzi was first, Vinoda. She's waiting from quite a while.
Yeah, I can confirm. It looks like they dropped out. Oh yeah, they
Okay.
disappeared. Whoops. I don't know what just happened there.
I think
Uh,
Azzi is definitely an introvert.
yeah, that happens, and that's actually the topic I wanted to touch upon. Contrary to popular beliefs, I'm actually someone who's more on the introverted side. I know that can look weird given the fact that I do what I'm doing right now in Spaces, but the context with that is, when Spaces first became a thing. Actually, rewinding for a second, social audio as a concept has always been a thing for me because I've used Skype, I've used Discord, mostly for gaming purposes, but I would never really socialize proper using these tools until Clubhouse became a thing. And at that point, I noticed that there were kinds of people that were business professionals that were using the platform to actually communicate on there. So I made it a point to spend at least 30,000 hours in total of using these social audio tools, and that's from 2020, mind you. So it's been I spent a whole lot more time since then, but I'm very much the type to really keep to myself and not really blast people on the timeline very much or really in public. And for me, there's this very specific reason with that. It's I think the popular misunderstanding about introverts and extroverts is that the introvert is the one that likes to stay home, and the extrovert is the one that sort of like, like likes to be the life of the party. I think it's more of an energy consumption kind of thing. And what fuels me up personally is healthy, mature conversations. And as soon as I get a certain quota that is met, I'm good to go. So I'll just politely excuse myself from the conversation and then move on to do my other things that I typically do when I'm offline. So that's the whole thing with me. But when it comes to extroverts, I also think that I really I don't think it should be the default, because there's this weird idea that if you're an extrovert, you're somehow doing it right. You're socializing the right way, and I'd like to challenge that preconception, because the thing about extroverts that people don't talk about is that it's a highly intensive role, right? When you're in that role, you get to essentially greet people and show them around and do many other unspoken things that is expected out of you when you step into that identity. And I really think that society doesn't necessarily rely on extroverts to go around. There's plenty of jobs that I can name off the top of my head right now that are very critical to the function of society, and these people are not the most extroverted folks that you'll ever meet. Especially in the medical field, you'll see a ton of that. And I really think that the pressure, if you will, of needing to perform extrovertedness is unnecessary and honestly harmful, because now you're not acting as your true self. You're doing something on the premise of pleasing other people, and that's a very toxic trait to adopt. And that's my take on that.
But Viz, that's the whole point, right? That as an introvert, you may not like talking to other people. As an introvert, you may have to push harder, but then you're a junior developer and you have to take that effort and have those conversations, because that's crucial for building your own presence within this team, within this department, within this company, right? So even though it is doesn't come naturally, you still have to take some steps there so that you can have those conversation, possibly take it to the next level, and build your reputation, build your connection, build your presence, ultimately helping you to possibly gain a promotion or whatever, right? Whatever it turns into a good project or what, right, Viz?
Did you get cut off? I don't know what happened there. Like, you got suddenly cut off about 10 seconds ago for me.
Let me quickly repeat what I was saying. I was saying that yes, it's not natural, but that's what we're talking. That for an introvert developer in this case, it doesn't come naturally to them. They have to put some effort. They have to spend energy to have those small conversation. But that's important and needed for them so that they can build their presence within the department, within the company, within the team, and hopefully create their reputation and presence um, with that extra effort.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is for me, to be clear, I have a clear distinction of what role I play depending on the context I'm in. And if we're going to dive even deeper, there's this idea of code switching, right? I'm sure that some of you, predominantly that are from immigrant backgrounds, can relate to that. The way you interact with people that come from where you come from versus the way you interact with Native Americans, it's not the same. And I can definitely vouch for a ton of these people that I've met along the way, who they speak a very certain way when it comes to these settings, and then as soon as they enter a different circle, it's like a whole other thing. So it's all about context, and it's all about understanding what is proper and suitable. And in a professional setting, you're hired to do a job. So if you're getting paid to accomplish a task and that's what you signed up for, I really don't think there's room there to complain about what you have or don't have to do, because again, it is a job. But when it comes to personal life stuff, I think that's where I'm drawing the limit. If I'm if I don't want to take on the role of an extrovert, I don't care what I'm offered to do it. I won't do it. And I don't think there should be a pressure for me to perform in that kind of role and setting, especially once, especially when it's explicitly stated boundary. I think The problem for me with the whole idea of playing the extroverted role is that I'm not comfortable with being touched. And unfortunately, when you're in that kind of setting, people touch you a ton, whether it's hugs or handshakes and many other things. And I just don't like it. So as a result of that, I try to manage that as much as possible by just staying in the background if I can. But in a professional setting, I'll greet people, do the things, and do every other thing that is required of me because that's what I signed up for. And you kind of have to pick and choose your battles, and when it comes to stuff like that.
That's awesome. That's perfect summarization of everything. Yes, and that answered my question too. So, thank you.
Uh, I don't know. Aziz still here. She's just coming and going, coming and going. I think as soon as she comes, we'll take her question first. But and Suraj has commented that he wants to summarize the points. Yes, you're more than welcome to summarize the points. It will help others who come to the space understand the space better. And next we'll go to Ego and then we'll go to Udba. Go ahead, Ego.
Ego. You
Ego,
corrected
yeah.
me 3 times last.
I'm really sorry. I mentioned it beforehand. My English is again. I will tell that English is not my first language. Ego, go ahead.
Ego, your voice is very low.
Is it better now?
Much better, much better.
Yeah, so thank you. Okay, so for introverted people, I think the thing is introverted people do this, they do everything that extrovert do, but in their safe space. And that is the difference. So they need that space to talk, to express themselves, to do whatever they want to do. But like we all know, we're in the 21st century. The issue right now is moderation because for everything you're doing in your safe space, you need to look for a way to replicate it in the real, quote and unquote, the real world. So I know there are lots of introverts in this space right now that will not even come up to talk because it started feeling overwhelming. And I'm saying this from experience because I know I'm introverted because it got to a point the conversation became overwhelming that I almost dropped. And these are the kind of thing that actually shy introverted people away from conversation. When it becomes too overwhelming, everybody just lock up, like we're not doing it again. But like I said, what I've been trying to get out of this space is moderation. So I've listened to tons of people come to speak. What I want to get out from here is moderation because what I'm doing in my safe space, I know I won't do it out there. I'm more introverted, so you won't see me doing a lot of things. Even I just if if you go through my Twitter feed, you know I don't even tweet. You won't even know I'm here. I started tweeting when I started my 100 days of code. When I became very active in tech, that is where I started tweeting or retweeting. I had, I think last month I had like 300 followers. I'm following, I think about 400 persons. Or I don't even. That is me. You won't even know I am here. But like I said, I what I'm trying to do right now is that moderation. And the funny thing here is, some introverted people are very good in communication. These are the two different. These are the things that I've been sort of battling with. Because in terms of communication, I communicate very well. But the thing now is, communi- for me to style that communication or stir up communication, it's the problem. That's where the problem lies. So that's what I'm trying to say is that for us introverted people right now, what we're trying to sieve out of every conversation here is moderation. So we know with that energy, with extrovert, we cannot match that energy. The energy at their pace is crazy. There is nothing wrong with introverted and extroverted people. I think that is how the world is, and this is how we should, because these are things that you don't get to choose. It's your personality. Everybody is comfortable. You're introverted, you're comfortable in your space. You're extrovert, you're comfortable in your space. There's no problem with that. The if right now for us introverted people is moderation. So how to find that balance so we can actually survive in the quote unquote, I'm using real word. That is what we're trying to do. So yeah, that is my take.
Vinod, you there?
I am there. I was grasping, especially the point that as an introvert, how to uh, the comment around moderation. I wanted to see if there is a follow up comment by anyone. Yeah, go ahead, Udba.
Oh no, no, I don't have anything. I was just raising my hand so I can speak.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Well, as always, Ego, thank you so much for sharing all these great points. I want to reset the room as more listeners are here. We are talking about how to do small talks as an introvert in this context, a junior developer, but these apply to everyone. We talk about what it is, why we should do it, what the benefits are, and then how, and then we different people are sharing their stories. It's about 3-5. Would like to close by around 4, like 45 minutes or so. Um, this is an open space, so please feel free to request the mic. Alex, thank you so much to see you here. Zara, there are many friendly names, many names here. Akash, Suraj, thank you. Um, I want to, I want to share a list that I prepared before this one. So, as a how for a again in this context, junior developer, I like to go with the persona and obviously then expand that persona. So, some of the thing that can help one being having a list of topic that you can talk about, and then based on the person that you're meeting, a 30-second pitch always help. So you talk about something in less than 30 seconds, and then somebody would respond, tell me more about it. That typically a good conversation starter where you have a topic that you like to talk about, and then you are bringing that to other people or other person. Uh, Sometime if you don't want to talk but still have a conversation, asking questions is a tremendous powerful way. And any open-ended question that people cannot respond with yes and no could be a very good start. So asking questions, and then when you do that, you have to actively listen to what other person is saying, because that could be a conversation killer if you're not able to keep up with what they are sharing. But if you do that, you can get a lot of follow-up questions just based on what that person is saying, the other person is saying. We talk about practicing. Udba has that point. Practicing with friend, family. I added mirror. Um, and then there was other discussion around common interest. So finding common interest and then talking about it, and then possibly next discussion as well. And then we talk about be yourself, be knowing how you typically talk and matching that with some energy could be a great idea. And Udba had, yeah, my my ring. And then Udba has a very good point that don't always be too formal when having these conversations. Then there was other points around context. It was good, and many others. So that's what we're talking about. We'll go to Musa and then Udba.
Okay. Thank you so much. I know I had spoken before, but I just want to clarify something. Um, you see, nobody was born an introvert, and nobody was born an extrovert. All these things, being an introvert or being an extrovert, was brought by something. And to be very honest, all depends on how you were raised, the type of neighborhood that you grew up in, where you schooled and stuff like that. Because, and when I talk of context where like how you were raised, you all remember when you're young, you're told like, no, when you go to school, don't speak to strangers on the road, don't do this, don't do that. So you live a life whereby your work is um, home, school, shopping. So the movement is more of you and your family, you and your cousins. No interaction with like the only time you get to interact with maybe some other kids is when you go to school. And naturally, if you look at the African um, way of living, it's totally different with how the people live in Europe. Because I was once in Yorkshire and observed how people live. Like life is like what can I say? It's timed and programmed. So all these things, the cause is how you were brought up, because that is where it is always very important when a child is growing up. Always allocate time whereby you as a parent, you take the child to play um, at the park with some other kids. That's when the child gets to interact. So if you never got the opportunity to interact with some other kids when you're young, getting to interact with people now when you're like 18 years old, it is going to be a challenge. And some of us here, I know there are parents here, they're teenagers, there are those who are planning to get into marriage affairs. Some you cannot make up to that. You cannot correct that 100% now. You understand? Because it is not something, you're not cultured. Like you're not brought up in that way. But there's a bigger possibility that you can change that. Yeah. And this goes out to everybody. The way on how when somebody speaks, there's nothing important like always listening, because a very keen listener is more powerful than the person speaking. Because remember, the person speaking is not going to ask questions, but the person listening is going to ask questions more oftenly, only if he was able to listen. So the power of the listener is never noticed in any conversation, but the power of the speaker is always noticed. With those few remarks, I just want to say thank you very much for this platform. It is a very wonderful platform, and I look forward to such interactive knowledge sharing spaces. Thank you so much. My name is Mohammed Musa from Nairobi, Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed, and thank you so much for coming. Great points. Ulba, you want to go next?
Yeah, shout out to everyone, man, dropping a lot of good insight and knowledge and advices and whatnot, and it's really fascinating, and it's a learning curve, right, for everybody, whether you're introvert or extrovert, getting all these tips and tricks and try to practice on your daily life will definitely can help you be confident on whether you're speaking in with random people, whether you're speaking in the office. It's all depends. Like I said in the beginning, right? It doesn't matter what topic you choose. Does not matter. How you talk, how you approach, that's something that matters. And if you're someone who's introvert and kind of like like to stay in a closed doors room or whatever, or maybe 4x4 room. Doesn't like to go out, just stuffing pizza all day. I mean, I'm just being funny. Don't worry, don't take it too hard. Sorry, just being funny. So if you're just like stuffing pizza all day and then not like to talk, just video gaming, coding, learning, and not going to talk, it's it, yeah it's you're probably feeling good at your like being to yourself like, yeah, I'm good, but it's not healthy. You know what I mean? If you want to be healthy, you got to go out, talk to people, learn from people. You know what I mean? And you don't have to go and open like in the events and stuff. Just talk, knock on people's door like next to you and go talk to them. I was like, hey, I live here for quite a while. I thought maybe I just come in and like to talk to you about certain things. Maybe there's some issues going on in their house. You might be able to solve it out like with their like a plumbing. If you're a plumber and then someone needs help, guess what? Talk and solve people problem. End of the day, we talk to solve people problem. We talk to feel um, confident. We like to talk to be stand out in front of people, right? That's the motive of how you talk. But talking is number one. Do not even think about what you're gonna share. Just talk random thing, random topic. There's a lot of sports going on. If you're really good at sports, talk about sports. Maybe a lot of people are into sports. But it is important to go and talk to people. That's how you build confidence. To be honest, I said it in the past. I mean, I said it before. I was introvert. I was someone who liked to like because I was not really a talkative person, so I just like to stay in my own bubble, in my own la la land. But then, as I was like start working and I try to go out, I know that hey, like in order for me to survive in this world, I have to talk to people, and that's what I did. I started talking to people. Didn't even think about it. And I know a lot of people will be like, "Hey, you're so talkative. It will be much easier for you." It was hard. I know it is really hard to be from switching from introvert to extrovert, but it all comes down to you. If you do small talk, like small do few phrases, talk to yourself in a room. You know what I mean? Like record yourself while you talk just to see how you look. I mean, I don't look good. I look like shit. But hey, like if I talk see yourself how you talk, like build confidence little by little. It's the same thing as how what we're doing in Twitter. A lot of people come in Twitter to talk to each other. I don't even know Vishal doesn't know me. I don't know Ego doesn't know me, but we bump into a lot of spaces together, and now we like to learn from about each other, right? I mean, now we know than me. We live in the same city. We haven't met each other yet. We're planning to meet, but right now I made that connection with him. So now if I meet him in person, guess what? We're not going to be awkward. Why? Because we already made that connection in Twitter, right? That's all it mattered. Twitter, it's here to connect, to talk, but then there's certain events come where you actually get to meet your Twitter friends. Don't think like, oh my God, I'm in the social media, I'm just gonna talk, but no one knows me. No, people know you. People will know you. That's the whole point. Being talkative, become a talkative, right? It's a first step, and then build confidence on it. That's a second step. And then sooner or later that thing become your second nature, and guess what? You don't even have to think about when you're talking to someone. Right now many of you probably going to come to space. They have like a hard time clicking that speaker button because they have millions of thoughts going in their brain. Oh my God, what if I ask the wrong question? What if someone probably take me as like, oh man, this guy is stupid or whatever? No, don't even think about. Question is a question, whether it comes out a proper way or improper way does not matter. Question is a question. You and throw the question, people will answer, you get the value, you move on. If you like to continue, then ask more questions. If you have some value, provide more value. you know but always be. And then that's the most important thing I would like to reiterate what I said before. It's know who you're talking, observing people, listening to people. That's also really important, right? maybe there's a lot of people who don't they look like they're kind of like extrovert, but they're not extrovert, they're introvert, meaning like they'll be like, when you talk to them, you feel so awkward because they're not responding to you. But do not make that thing go, like, let you down. Do not make that thing let you down. Always be like, hey, nice talking to you. I know you're currently probably not interested in talking, but feel free. I just wanted to come and say, like, hey, if you're doing okay or you're not, just small talk. See, I added, and maybe he will reply like, yes, yeah, I'm doing good, or maybe like not responding to you. What you gotta do? Move on. Find someone. There's a lot of fish in the sea. There's a lot of fish in the sea. One fish will not gonna. If you can't bait one fish, guess what? If you move the spot, you get another fish. You move another spot, you find another fish. As that's how. I mean, I'm giving a little silly examples, but try to understand. There's a lot of people in this world that you can go and communicate. Now, coming back to what I was gonna say before I was trying to get into my bubble right here, it's Vinod. I have a question for you, and I'm kind of like curious to know, and I really don't want to put you in a spot, but I really want to know what made you choose this topic. Is that something that you come across recently, or maybe is it something going on at work? Because I mean, I came in late, so I was not part of the introduction. So if you just like maybe summarize in just a brief moment, like, is it something that you would like to discuss for a long period of time, or is something that you occurred like recently?
Great question. So Vishal brought that topic to me a couple of weeks ago, and so that's how I planned it, and that's why Vishal, who brought this topic, and then I will let Vishal talk about it. What why he brought this, but what he told me is something that he want to learn about, and then on top of that, this has been a challenge, especially in my early career, and this there are two part to it. Part number one is these small talk have hindered my growth at some point, and at the same time it has saved me from a layoff, and then many years later it has become one of the strength that I have, because in my office people know me for somebody who can get things done, because I know a lot of people, and I use those connection. And I'm talking about Advent Health. I'm talking about in my work that it was a very intentional effort that I have taken over time. But then I know people from all different type of department, all different type of background, not just my team, not just my department, but if I work with anybody, the first meeting that I will attend, I will try to get that connection going, and that has helped me so much. And then going back to how it saved my second job, I was at I was at my second job. It was in Delhi, and then it was just 2 months into in that company, and I was walking. I came back from the coffee place to my I was going back to my desk, and one of the director in this company was passing me by, and he said, "Hey, are you new here? What do you do?" And I responded by saying, "This is the exact word. Yeah, I just joined 2 months ago, and I'm working on a project which read the data from SQL, pull it in Excel file, and I used some of the fancy word, and then he brought me to another manager. I moved to the team, and then few just 2 weeks later, they announced a layoff, and my previous team was gone. The new team that I joined survived, and things like that. So the small talk has helped me a lot. But then it was Vishal topic, so I will let Vishal go. You have a hands raised, so you probably have something as a follow up. You go first,
I
and
just remembered something that might help people. Like, my friend recently went through this, and he's an introvert, but I'm gonna tell you his story, and then people will find a good value out of it. I just happens to remember. So I'll go in the end. Let's go. Like once Vishal done, then go to Yash want, and then you can come back to me.
Okay, so Vishal, you brought this topic to me. You share why this is important for you, why you think that this will add value. I know you have that answer, so I'm giving it to you.
Uh, like I have two things to this. Like I am usually very scared to speak in spaces as well, and I'm very scared to speak in person as well. I'm scared in both the cases. But like as I'm speaking in spaces, I'm realizing like just internally I'm realizing that like I should just have fun even if I make mistakes here, even if I fumble. I should just enjoy it. Like life is very short. Why should I worry about like why this person will think this, that person will think this. He's not even thinking that. So I'm trying to apply the same thing in the in person scenario, like being in your limits but just enjoying everything. You should be authentic, you should do small talk, but also not put so much pressure on yourself and just enjoy the ride. So that I was facing a little bit difficulty in that. I probably improved a bit in spaces, and like I started going to the office a little bit, so I'll improve that as well. So I have not improved that much in person talks, so that's why I wanted this talk. So I'll hopefully improve in that area as well, because this also I felt is super difficult, but it is super fun. And I think the end of it, you should just have fun and enjoy the ride. I'll apply the same to in person as well. So yeah, I'm just enjoying the ride.
Thanks, Vishal. With that, we'll go to Yash.
Hi, can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Yashwant. Let me directly come to my problem. I can actually speak any topic with any person. I can talk to a person for hours. I can like make many small talks. I can make anyone friend, but only in my native language. That's the main problem for me, because I think English has reduced my confidence very much to like to speak to someone else. But my problem is like my native language is not English. It's called Kannada. I live in Bangalore. So I from my childhood I did not have an ecosystem or an like surroundings where some people spoke English all the time. So I am like adapted to the life where I speak only in my native language. Okay. Uh, but but uh, my, the main problem I am facing now is like English drastically reduce my confidence. So how can I tackle that? Thank you.
Can I go really first? Because this is something that I have lived with.
It's your
And
space, bro. You don't have to ask. Damn.
but I don't have the answer, okay? I will share the struggle that I have faced, and I will share what I have done. So, number one, I have I was a really really good student until 12th grade, and then I went to this engineering college which was completely English, or the native language there was Marathi. So two language, which was I was not good at both. And um, from really good scholar student to I couldn't even pass my first year. That bad, just because of the language change. And then I holded myself back for um, becoming a manager, just thinking that I'm not so good in English, and I was in US at that point, and I was thinking if I became a manager, then I will have to give presentations. I have to talk to several people, and it I won't be good. And 11 years later, I have been a very good manager with the same English problems. But it's so the two things that I've done. One is I have to fight with that, as in I have to learn it, right? It's a language that you can get better, and you won't be you won't have all the accent, you won't have all the grammatical correction, but over time you will be able to do enough. And doing enough is a must that we have to, and I think we should. At least in my situation, because I was here, I have to respect the language which is giving me money, right? Which is giving me a job. So I did whatever I can. I'm still, more I speak, more I get better, more I write, more I'm getting better. My blog many years ago has so many mistakes. Now it's far better. I use Grammarly as well. I took help from my colleague who have helped me with different things in the language. So um, first, sorry, I pronounced your name incorrectly.
It's Yashwant.
Yashwant. So Yashwant, I don't have a, I guess, encouraging answer here. I because I have the same problem. I guess I can be more that you have to work on it, and the more you work on it, you better you will get. And so I will stop there. I guess Vishal, you go first, and then Udbha.
I have a follow-up question for Yashwant. Has anyone come and told to you that your English is not good?
Yeah, not really. No one told like that, but I feel that my English is not that good.
Like I will, I don't know. I'll drop a truth bomb. Uh, I think your English is amazing. Like, what are you able to understand what I am telling from the beginning of the space? Are you able to
Yes,
understand my words?
yes, yes.
So if I may tell you, my English is super bad. If you're able to understand my English, that's more than enough. And you are speaking, I am able to understand every word that you're speaking. That is more than enough. We living in India, like I mentioned this in another space as well. We know our mother tongue, plus we know even 30-40% of English. That is more than enough. Like, do you know Hindi, Yashwant?
Yeah, I know Hindi. I know like four languages. I know.
Okay, like if in Hindi, if I tell you, like, uh, how do I don't know. I think I should respect the other speakers here. So the one thing I'll tell you is, if you're able to do your job properly, I think that is more than enough. There's no need for you to go and teach in Oxford school or that level of English, right? I will give you a, I don't know if I can mention these things also. Like, in my office, I have seen people who are at a senior level than me speak such bad English, and the pronunciation is not correct, the words are not correct, yet everyone communicates, everyone, like, they just communicate with confidence. And like, seeing them, like, I just feel like my English is far better. But the one thing that I mentioned in previous space as well is, people are not at all thinking your English is bad. It's just in your head that you're thinking. Like, if I speak something bad here, nobody will remember that. Even in person, if I speak something wrong, nobody will remember. It's just in your head that you're thinking this person is thinking this about me. It's your thoughts that are being reflected from the other person, that he is thinking this. He's not thinking. Like, I will just tell you that your English is amazing, and you'll improve step by step. Like, you're pretty young, I know, like, you will improve. And I think, rather than focusing and repeating this, that my English is not good, my English is not good, just don't focus on everyone, leave everyone. People are like, just don't focus your energy on that. Just focus, like, if you're doing some mistake, just improve that. Don't focus on people, focus on yourself, I would say. Like, that's my only advice.
Hey,
Wow.
thank you.
Thank you, Vishal, for encouraging a statement, especially after what I said. um, but honestly, I have what Vishal is saying is perfect, because that's how I have treated myself. Thinking, overthinking, and then finally in getting slightly better. I wanted to give a very big shout out to Dallas. Dallas, thank you for joining. VJ, thank you so much for joining. Excel, always happy to see you. Um, Vishal, I don't know what's the
Go
what's
to
the
Dallas because he might have some
We
another
should
advice
go to
for.
Udba, otherwise he will kill all of us here.
No. I'm good. I'm good. Go to Dallas first.
Dallas,
Dallas,
you
man,
can
you
go
can.
ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dallas,
No
go ahead.
respect. Yeah. Thank you, guys. I want to say what up to everybody. Vinod, Vishal, Udba, Musa, Ugo, Ego, and Yashwan, and all the listeners. What up, Axel? Been seeing you doing all right, and everybody who's doing great today. Yeah, I joined the space really late. I saw Vinod's message, but if I see Vinod hosting a space, I definitely want to be in it. Um, I left. There's the frog acronym. I don't know if you guys have heard it, but it's like family, recreation, occupation, goals, and that's a great way when you're talking to people to figure out where they're interested in, other than just work. Man, I tell you, it's fun to meet someone who networks and doesn't just talk about like work, but like talks about the other things they're interested in. You know, what they think about their family and life and stuff like that. I'm more of a value networker. I don't know, bro. I don't usually get a lot of. I'm an introvert, so I don't usually get a lot out of small talk. It's more like, what are your values? And if your values are the same as mine, then we can go to the next step, which is medium-sized talk, and then we can go to large talk. But that's what I want to say so far. I may have some other things to say later. But note, I appreciate you for doing this. Back to you, my man.
Dallas, you are one of the big example of how to do small talk. By the way, if you have not attended Dallas Spaces, what you will experience that you will join there, and he will ask you couple of questions, one at a time, obviously, and then he will ask follow-up question, and then he will take you to a deeper dive into whatever emotion you're feeling with that topic, with that subject, with that question. It's amazing, Dallas. Every time that I have attended your spaces, um, it it's always a deeper dive into my own experience and reflection. So big shout out to Dallas. You are one perfect example of a small talk by asking questions.
Thanks. I want to say something real quick too, and I'll pass it back. But hey, I'm not perfect though. I'm working on it, and yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I'm still far from perfect. That's what I wanted to say.
Hey, by the way, you this frog example, right? Uh, I am I'm starting to change, or maybe I've changed few years ago, but I was a perfect example who can only speak about the topic that I know, and mostly around either work or stocks. If the topics are not around those, then I'm just not talking. So I am your perfect example of how not to be.
I am exactly in the situation that Vinod was, and I'm improving little by little. I just wanted to add one point that I missed, adding to Yashwant's, like my previous point, that there are, I think I would advise you to just speak in spaces and in Discord servers, like not just speaking any nonsense, but stick to the topic, but every day attend one space and practice, like, like I'm speaking to you right now. Even if you speak for 45 minutes of practice every day, your English and your what do you say, communication, how to form sentences and everything will improve automatically. You don't even realize it. Like when I say a sentence, I'll give you an example. When I say my mother has some work for my brother, and she tells me to write these essays and all. I write the essays, I know all the sentences are correct, and my mother asks me for definition, like why is this grammatical part here, why is that grammatical part here, but I do not know. It's just that my mind has been trained that these sentences come in this way, these sentences come in this way, just by speaking, reading, going through. Like I do not know any grammar, I don't know why this sentence is like this, I know it's like this, that's it. So I would advise you to just speak in Discord. Like Discord has a very good community, like it's city wise. Like you're in Bangalore, so Bangalore also will have many like in Hyderabad. Like last week I joined a Discord server where I am super scared, like as a person, because I'm from a non CSE background, and they were all people from Microsoft and all those software engineers. So to break the ice, the first thing I said was this only, because you faces are not visible, it is the best opportunity for me to just break the ice. So I just told them that my English is not good and whatever. And then starting it's a little bit bad, and then slowly things get better. Like I am in the second week now, and I interact with 40 people there. Like I was interacting with 200 people here. So you improve day by day, and I am still making mistakes in even in this space. If you hear the recording, I will make tons of mistakes, but that's okay, because you will improve step by step. So I will advise you to speak in spaces, like in every space. Even if you're able to contribute just for 5-10 minutes, try to contribute in spaces and Discord servers. Like download Discord as soon as possible.
May I go now?
Yeah, Musa.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry. Vishal, sorry. There's just something that was added to the topic that I felt like let me just address something. But first of all, before I address it, I want to ask a question. Um, who when each and every kid when you were born, did you know your mother tongue? The simple answer is no. It is a no, because when you're born, nobody understands the language of the child rather than the mother. You understand? And when you look at that kid, either a boy or a girl, the language is always one. Ta 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 ta. You never get to understand what the kid is playing. But the courage, you see, the courage that that kid has, the courage to, is really trying to explain this thing to you, very serious, looking at you, you know. My brother, I would say this: me and you, we have different background, different countries. Me and you, we are not Steve Harvey. You understand? But we are Steve Harvey in the making. How? Courage. Because if you have the courage to speak, knowing how to articulate and arrange your words, you are going to capture the attention of the listeners. You understand my point? And if you have the courage to speak in here, trust me, you're a people's person, because the space is having a number of people. So the way you can articulate yourself, elaborate yourself in here, you're just a wonderful person. So don't shy off. The problem is uh, I'm speaking a new language. I don't know, my English is not good. I don't know. No, 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 no. It is just because now you're an elder person, you think, oh, how is this person going to view me? How is this person? No. Be like a child, very courageous, you communicate. Let me bring this to the topic. I'm in Kenya, and Vishal and my fewer brothers are from India. In Kenya, we have Indians who are into the business, more so industrial business companies. Yeah, they have car deals. The car dealers, they have showrooms, and I can tell you, these guys are the best sellers. I remember after finishing my high school, so I went to look for a job. Unfortunately, I got a very low paying job and stuff. So I was like, hey, where I'm coming from and where I'm getting to work is very far away. And the guy was like, now I went one day after I think working for a month, I went to my employer. Uh, and I was like, sir, this salary is very little a bit. I was just asking for a yeah, it was like $50 increase. Yeah. And he was like, you know what, Mohammed, $50 is nothing to you, nothing to me, And that was the best way. Like, he beat me into it. So there was no way how I could convince him about, the salary increase. You understand? And the way he explained, the way he expressed himself, I was even out of, words on how to ask, like, how do, please this and that. So when you get to communicate, be courageous enough. You understand? Nobody is going to, when you're courageous enough Trust me, even that person who knows how to communicate, you're going to beat him. We have very good speakers. We have very good we have very intellectual minds, but if it comes to communicating, he can really communicate on phone very well. But when it comes now communicating where people are, it is a problem. Yeah, it is because of courage. So when you have courage, you can stand in front of 2 3 people and speak. The first 2 minutes you'll be like, okay, this and that, but once you go above that, trust me, you're going to be like, I don't know, the podium is going to be yours. So despite communication, language, courage, just having that courage is key. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful evening, night. Right now in Kenya, it's 10:44 p.m. And with that few remarks, thank you all for this opportunity, and see you guys. I want to go to the listeners session. Thank you.
Thank you, Musa. I really love every time you have spoken. You gave such a actionable advice, which are great. And thank you so much for sharing. I wanted to ask Yashvardhan if Yash, I still not able to pronounce your name. Yashwanath?
No, no,
It's
no. It's
Yashwant.
yeah.
Yashwant. Okay, okay. I will not make a mistake anymore. Okay, Yashwant. 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 Any comment based on all the replies that you have received?
Yeah, I just think that from today, I'll just don't care about people thinking about my English or not. Just I'll speak.
Yeah, practice, practice, practice. Udba.
Yeah, Vinod, it's funny. Like Vinod's like, oh, my English is not good, and now he's speaking English. It's like he can't even pronounce Indian names. Wow, Vinod, come on, dude. I can't
Wait, wait,
pronounce
wait.
Indian
Before you continue,
names.
I made a controversial statement before. This is the second one. First one was back end and front end. Okay.
See, another small talk. Love it, love it. Few notes.
I
Few.
was
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
so somebody had made a comment on me when I was in Kentucky. Um, we had people from different part of India, and with my ignorance about the South India, he was so mad and he said, "For you North Indian, you have no idea the different languages that we have. You have no idea what are the what different states we have. You any place you stand, anything behind your back is all South India." So I'm from North India, so the pronunciation. All right, back to
Yeah,
you.
I'm not even Indian, and then I can pronounce people's name. I love that. Maybe the accent comes in between, but it's still it's good. No, I'm not taking shots on you, Enos. I'm just being crazy over here. Anyway, few notes to Yeshwant. Sorry, Yeshwant. Few notes to Yeshwant, and then after that, I'm gonna say what I was gonna say earlier. Uh, when you want to speak to someone, let's say, for example, me, right? I moved to the United States when I was 10 years old, right? And I've been speaking English, but I speak a lot of, like, based on probably hearing from quite a while now, I speak a lot of street type of English because I grew up with my friends and in a street. I don't want to go too much in details, but so I the problem that I have is now with English is speaking a little bit more on professional level rather than just speaking casual. I speak a lot of casual English and not a professional. So I'm struggling on that. See, there's a point right here, right? Even people who's speaking English for entire life doesn't mean they're speaking good English. Yeah, they might be struggling through that as well. Maybe they struggling not through the speaking on a daily basis, but maybe on a professional level, right? You, my friend, you speak in English already in space, asking questions, pointing out some weaknesses. That's your win right there. Straight up, that's your win right there. The only advice, and I know Vinod and Vishal and Adele, is they already give you a good advice on it. The only thing I'm going to say is try to, when you go out and you know what you're gonna say, make sure you write some sort of like points on a piece of paper, right? That way you can keep a track, because sometimes if you don't write it down and you speak, you might come across speaking like extra or maybe not according to the topic, right? So write it down, maybe at an outline, and then try to speak based on that, right? And also, I know majority of time when you speak, you're probably thinking in your language, right? Like you know what you about to say in your language, but you have a problem translating that into an English. You give me 100, that means I'm telling the truth, right? So don't worry about it. Sometimes I do that too. When I try to speak Spanish, my thoughts come in like in my head as in English. So now I'm kind of I get stuck in words. Like okay, some words I say in English, sometimes I say it in Spanish. I get stuck in this dilemma, right? So what you do is pinpoint, make a practice how you're gonna come across, talk to people. If you're giving us some sort of like, if you started a space, I'm talking about. But if you want to go and not talk to people on a daily basis, like having a normal conversation, don't even think about what you're saying. Make sure you have to think what you're saying, but don't focus too much on your words, because um, that's why you're going to be more confident in speaking English. You can always tell the opponent, like whoever you're speaking with, like, hey, if I make a mistake, correct me. That's the golden tips right there. If you're speaking to someone and you're making a mistake, make sure you tell them like, hey, correct me if I come across maybe a wrong word, or maybe if my sentence not lined properly, then make sure you correct me. Correcting people, right? You will get to learn it and you get to correct. Next time when you say certain thing, you already know what you're about to say. Before I continue, I would like to tell Dallas, if he has his hands up, if you want to follow up on it.
Yeah, much respect, Utba. Damn, bro. I'm sorry. I don't want to forget like the thought I had. I'm actually about to leave something else in the comments, but I did forget the main thought. I remembered a side thought, and that's how to win friends and influence people. May be a good book worth looking into. There's a lot of quotes that ring in my head from that book, but one in particular is which I'll put in the chat, is you can become, how I say, you can make more friends by being interested in other people than you could if you tried to tell everybody like about yourself. And I mean, I'd love to think that everyone in here wants to know more about me and my life and where I grew up and what I'm working on. But like, I come on, man. Like, you guys are only gonna care if you realize that like I care about you and what you're working on and want to help to what you have. So, man, if you're small talking and I sense that you're about to sell something or you're about to pitch something, you're already turning me off. But if you're small talking and it sounds like you're really interested in me and we're really feeling each other and you're curious about my life, then tell me more about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Where did you grow up? What are you into? Right? That's how you start building the budding deep conversation. Right? I want to go from small talk to deep conversation. I don't find a lot of value in small talk. But yeah, back to you, Vinod. Appreciate it. Or Udba, because he passed it to me. I'm sorry, bro. I'm
No,
getting my space dynamics right.
no worries, no worries, man. Glad to have you in the speaker section, dropping some gems. I love that, bro. Um, I will go with a little piggyback on what you said. 110%. Start small talk, but make sure you convert that into a proper conversation where you drop, where you act. I'm gonna keep saying drop, man. This thing is not getting out of my way, mouth. But anyway, where you share a lot of values, right? Make sure you share a lot of value and gain some value. That's how you make connection. And I already spoken of this earlier when the starting of the space, right? Um, but what I was gonna say is, it's really important to talk. Talk is number one. Like if you're not gonna talk and sit there and thinking in your head how I'm going to approach, that's you already failed over there. Let's be honest with you. You already failed, because by the time you're about to speak, or when the time your time comes to speak, guess what? That person either gone or is not interested in you. So what? Don't even have a second thought. Already start speaking, and then maybe think about like think about what you're gonna say when you ask a question. That's a good thing. Ask question. That way you have if you have a process going on in your brain to think about what you're gonna say next, right? That's the number one thing. And then the I was gonna talk something. It's the biggest weakness of me, right? Like the weakness that I have. I talk fast. So sometimes when I talk fast, some of the word I don't pronounce it the correct way. Maybe it just like stuck somewhere. And but if you probably notice, I don't go back and correct myself. I keep on going. I don't care. Like if that maybe somehow maybe probably people already find the value, or maybe I'm already dropping another sentence that might correct that. So don't think about it. Always say whatever you want to say. That's the most important thing. Going back to what I was originally gonna say, right? I wanted to share this thing. Maybe a month ago, I shared a picture of me and my friend, and I said that my friend got a job, right? And he actually shared how he got a job, and that's a really good example to share according to the topic of this space, right? So he's an introvert. He got a job in one of the company I'm not gonna name, right? As a data entry, right? This person studying as a data science, right? Data science. He's into a data science right now. So he wanted a job. He got a job as a data entry, and then what happened? There was a training going on where he has the VP of some department, something like that. I'm not quite remember which department, right? Is the VP there, and he asked questions, and he was asking question based on his knowledge, right? The main objective that he has in mind is I'm gonna just if I want to participate, I want to participate by asking questions. So he asked question, a really good question, and then the guy, like, or the VP, he follow up with his answer. And then the good thing that he did, right, is he sent the follow up email saying like, "Hey, like it was nice talking to you. Just to let you know, the reason why I asked you this question because I'm studying this, right?" And then this person, and then also mentioned that, "Hey, I would like to shadow someone if that's possible. That way, I can while I learn this, I can also." And while I'm working, I can also like shadow someone to learn what's to practice on my everyday, like or get the real world experience, right? That person literally replied back, given the people. I mean, one of the department, the lady who actually the head of that data science or data analyst department, right? He gave it a name. He got connected with it. Guess what? He's doing a a shadowing right now. So the whole purpose of why I'm sharing that is because even though if you're an introvert, but if you ask good question and get yourself engaged in a conversation, you're not just like learning how to building your confidence, but you also might find the value somewhere in the company that might align better with your career switch. So that's just my opinion. I just wanted to share that, don't just talk, yeah, talk, that's number one, but also have this thought in your brain, in your mind that, hey, when I'm talking, I want to get value. I don't want to just talk for free, because sometimes people don't like to talk for free. So always remember that.
Finally, my friend Axel, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing right, came to the stage. Same thing with Nicholas. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm coming in quick. I have to go right away. But great space. I've been listening for quite some time. Really good interventions by Vishal, Dallas. Yeah, everyone in space. Great space. I would say like one of the things that caught my attention is the thing about being introverted. It can be like two things, and they can go together, right? Like you can be introverted but still have ease with words. Like you can talk a lot and still be introverted. Or you could be the case where you don't speak and you don't. The thing the definition that I kind of know about and is the one I go through is if you feel overwhelmed after being a extended period of time with people, around people, then you're extroverted, you're introverted, right? So like you have like a, let's just call it like your phone. You have a charge, and it discharges really, really quickly. You know, you have one of those old iPhones that discharges really quickly. You're introverted. But if you kind of energize being around people, then you are like extroverted, right? So in my case, I don't have like that fear of talking to people, but I do have like the thing of, you know, I cannot be around people around like so for so long. And the thing about the one where you have difficulty expressing yourself, I think the difficulty of that is like when it comes to when you grew up, right, and you're like older and try to change that, it becomes difficult because I think someone mentioned it here, right? Like when you say stuff, you sometimes are gonna say stupid things, right? And if you did that at a young age, you basically don't care about what you say. Like when you're young, when you're a teenager, you can say all kinds of stupid things, and that's fine. But it feels a little bit different once you're older and you're like more self-conscious. But for that, I would recommend, yeah, just coming up. Twitter Spaces is a great one, and Discord Space. I think Vishal mentioned those because you know you don't have such a profile that everyone will recognize or something, and you can. It's not that you're gonna come and say stupid things just because, right? But sometimes you're gonna do it, and it's gonna be fun. Like it's just like Vishal is saying, like nobody's gonna remember it, like at all, right? You're not talking about with a friend or with someone within your company that you're gonna see every day. It's gonna be people that you're gonna see, you know, in certain periods of time, maybe once a month, maybe once a week. You never know. Um, but yeah, that's a great advice to improve kind of the diction kind of things. But yeah, I've been enjoying everything in space so far. Thank you for everyone has that has spoken. I have to leave now. I didn't want to, you know, leave without coming as a speaker and you know saying hi to everyone. But yeah, thank you very much, Vinod, for the space and all the speakers.
And this is space. It started with um, what it is, why, what's the benefit, and how, and we initially touch the, in fact, various part of it, part of the small talk from the point where it could be more on the personality type, introvert versus extrovert, right? And then we talk about some of the tactic related items, and then we talk about some of the logistic in terms of the friend versus connection type thing. And then recently we talk about the language. I mean, it plays a big role into your ability to have a small conversation, whether you're introvert or extrovert or whatever, is your own ability with the language, right? That was an excellent point. um, so we covered techniques, emotions, strategy, a lot during this time. So wow. With that, I would go to Nicholas.
Cool, thank you. And great space. And from what I've heard, it's pretty much on the money on earlier and everything. But I don't know. I don't know how well, since I'm here in LA, I am, I don't know right now. I mean, I'm still enjoying tech and moving towards tech, but I am like an actor. And so it's been an interesting, that networking and being an introvert, extrovert has been huge that I've learned. Huge, especially in LA. And I guess I also want to stress that, you know, the people, and I've been pretty shameless in my, like who I talk to. And, and I've learned that like, you know, it's also, in addition to all of that, it's being comfortable with yourself and what you can offer. Like say if you're so fascinated by a project that you're working on, people are going to naturally come to you when you mention it, and they're going to see your value, and they'll be like, holy crap, you've been working on this and you're so excited about this. Like, it's just human nature. Like, I think it's, yeah, being genuinely interested in the other person, and being genuinely interested in something that you love, regardless of what they exactly think, but could benefit from, is huge. So at least just wanted to add that from my experiences. Thank you.
Shout out to you, my boy. Shout out to you.
Nicholas, I just want to acknowledge that your presence to the space that I host, or a space that other people host, um, we always notice your presence, and I, from my heart, thank you so much for your support and joining. And I'm really glad that many people are getting a lot of value from all the conversation that we had today.
By the way, just a correction. The reason why I'm so hyped right now because I had 2 cups of coffee since morning. So please do not mind how I'm acting right now.
We'll, we'll go to Dallas, and then after that, we'll start winding up.
Sweet. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, Udba, I'm on my first cup, bro. I'm not much of a 2 cup guy. If I go 2 cups, I'm not going to sleep tonight. So I just got one. I wanted to say what up to Nicholas, and what he said was pretty huge. You got to know yourself, but man, I've been on this journey trying to figure out who am I? Uh I don't know myself right now, bro. So it's like the more I learn about who I am, the better and more effective of a communicator I can be. And for me, it was a lot of reading, studying other people that I like it, their speaking style. And one more tip, like if you guys know, this is a hot tip, right? Some people may say, oh, I like the way you speak. You carry yourself nice. If they say that to me, I say I appreciate it. But peep this. I still listen to recorded spaces that I was in, and I hear everybody else, but I definitely listen to my parts. How did I sound? What was my filler words? Um, was I paying attention to the other person? Like things of that nature. They were recording this space. So if you spoke today, you literally have the ability to hear your playback and to evaluate your performance as a communicator. And you do that a bit, and you're gonna realize you have a lot of room to improve. Um, but I'm just saying, take advantage of the tools we have available to us, right? And this is a great space. Connect with everyone here. It looks like we're all trying to work on our communication skills. So you want to have some friends, right, who are doing it too. Not everybody in the real world is interested in becoming a better communicator. So that's why X is an amazing opportunity. But that's what I wanted to say. Vinod, man, you've done a great job, bro, at making this environment available for us today. I'll pass it back to you, man.
I was gonna quickly say to what Dallas said, bro. You are amazing. You are literally sharing great value. The fact that I don't even know you, or you come across in my DM and ask me a question, how am I doing and whatnot, and how Twitter is treating me, bro. That gesture by itself, it's amazing, out of this world. Because guess what, right? We can hop in this space, talk about things, but then do you actually go to people's DM and then ask, like, not question, hey, can you give me a job or can you give me an opportunity, but just ask like simple question, hey man, how you doing? Like I see you being on Twitter a lot. Are you doing okay? Like, is it something I can help you with or something like that? A small gesture of like go to someone's DN and sharing, whether that person will reply you or not does not matter. It's the approach that matters, right? I go to, like, he sent me a message, I reply to him instantly. He sent me another message and I did not reply, and I apologize. Shit, man. I'll do a reply to that, I promise. But the fact that you were able to send me that message, it means a lot to me. I don't know, maybe it means a lot to other people as well, but it means a lot. Going out of your comfort zone and sending people a message and asking how are you doing, perfect, man. Love that.
Dude,
That's what I
respect
was
it.
taught. That's what I was saying. That Dallas has the superpower to ask question.
Hey, let me say something real quick. Vinod, I appreciate it, man. Hey, I'm not gonna let you put me on a pedestal in your own space, bro. But hey, no, thank you guys. Listen, it's all practice, right? Practice makes perfect. But Udba said something, and I want to make sure you guys understand that, bro. Networking and getting followers and connecting with people in this space is literally just the tip of the iceberg. Like your follow up, like sending them a DM, and then really, bro, it's really trying to get them on a call, or if the energy makes sense, right? If you guys are vibing, right? Because the DMs are, it's tough. How do I say? Like, there's a lot of people competing for the attention of the person you're working with, you want to talk to, and also like the DMs are just the way they're designed. It's not urgent. You know what I'm saying? So my goal, and I'm rambling a little bit, but it's just like the follow up is actually more important than this first part of connection. And then my goal is to not keep it in the Twitter DMs because it's going to get lost in there. Somebody's going to drop the ball. Let's get on the phone. Let's save contacts if we really like each other in our phones, and now we can continue this small talk to become a deep conversation. But I no longer need Twitter. So unfortunately for everyone here, we're just connected on Twitter. If Twitter goes away tomorrow, X goes away tomorrow, I lose all my relationships with you all. Um, yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
I have Udba cell number, so I don't
Yeah,
rely on.
never got a message. So yeah, thank you for having my number. Jeez,
I'm just saying, if Twitter get is gone.
I guess you would have called me and I'd be like, I don't know this random number. Boom, send me a message so I can save it. But I already did because since you sent me on DMs, I already save it. But just in case,
10-4, bro.
you probably mute Minot.
Oh, no, sorry. Um, my daughter came, and then she was asking something. So I heard you, but I wasn't prepared to respond. Sorry.
Damn, am I that dangerous? Like you can't even reply to me?
Sorry, what happened? I will share real quick. So my daughter just told me that she has a robotic class, so I have to drop her. And then she was asking how soon I can. I said I'm gonna do it now, and that's when you were saying something, and I did not share that. I mean, I heard that about my phone number and not having a text message at all, and all that. The point was, Twitter is still here. Dallas said, when Twitter is gone, what we will do. And I said, I have Udba phone number. So at least I will still be connected with Udba.
Yep, that was the main point. The importance of for the connections, the people you really enjoy on X, see if you can get their phone numbers. That way, and I don't think X is going anywhere. I don't think it's going anywhere. But if it did, at least you would have Upa's number in this case.
Yeah, he only checking on me on during hurricane times. Yeah, I see how it is. I'm just joking, man. I don't want to put you on spot, man. I love
No,
you to
I
death,
know,
bro.
I
I
know.
love you to death, bro. Come on.
Well, with that, Ego and Vishal has their hand up.
I had so many points to tell, but I'm just laughing. I forgot everything. My first point was like everyone is telling to join Dallas space, so I'll join that first. And then I was just confused that why is Axel not coming up on the stage. So again, he came on the stage. Thank you for coming on the stage. And I could not believe two things. One is that Udba is an introvert, and the second is that Vinod's English. Like when Vinod speaks, like I thought not to tell this, but I wanted to tell this anyway. Like he has a little bit of English accent. Who are Indian here will realize that. Who are non-Indian will not realize it. So his English is pretty good, and like when he told that his English was bad, like I could not believe that. That, and when Udba told that Udba is an introvert, that is like I am unable to believe that. And I wanted to mention this one more thing about Udba. Like I have observed this in many spaces. Like uh, Udba has an ability that whenever he tells, you never feel bad. I don't know why it is. It's like I feel like if someone else would have told the same thing, it would have felt bad. But Udba tells something, I always laugh. How much he just puts people on spot. He puts Vinod on spot. He puts, like, especially people like Vinod and me on spot, and it's crazy. Like I enjoy when he speaks. Yeah, and I wanted to mention a couple of more points, but I have forgotten that. So we will move on to the next speaker.
Yo, bro, come to my space. I'll put you in the spot all the time. Ask Nick how many times I put him in the spot. Ego, you can go now.
Okay, I swear to God, I almost lost it. Okay. Okay, yes, I got it now. So yeah, I wanted to ask. Okay, so small talk. You know, okay, the thing about it, say, for example, you engage somebody for the first time, and trust me, if I engage you for the first time, I know how. For me to even engage you, trust me, there's this. I've had that conversation 10,000 times in my head. I've had the conversation how it's end and all that. If I get a little bit, if you shrug or if I sense, almost immediately I'm going back into my shell. And I think this, okay, I'm not speaking generally, but I know for many introverts, this is one of the things we face, it's one of the challenges we face, especially trying to build our social life. So my question is how how to build how can I build from that point where say I'm engaging somebody for the first time and I'm trying to probably stir a friendship because this is this is it. Excuse me. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to have tons of friends. That's why many introverted people, their space is very small. One, two, three, they'll tell you four max if they have people that they're conversing with every day or they're in communication with every day. So how do I build? Because I know when you take it up for having that small talk, and from that small talk you start engaging the person. Say for example, you want to be friends with a particular person, you start engaging the person. Like how often? Because trust me, I'm a I think I used to be a very private person, very private person until I started 100 days of code. I don't know if I'm that private because I tweet almost every day. So I don't think I'm that private person. But yeah, I don't know how to crowd people. Trust me, I give people space a lot. So how can I manage this thing? So I want to be friends with this person because to be friends with somebody, you have to build some sort of communication, which builds relationship with this person. Like how often should I engage this particular person? Like when is it too much? Because trust me, it's already too much in my head. But now I'm trying to tell myself that it's okay to actually do it. So when would that small talk get to that point where it becomes something else? It's just friendship level. How can I move to that point where I can build friendship or I can build their friendship with somebody? Because building friendship itself is very difficult for introverted people. We like our space and we think for people. Like I'm looking at you, I'm thinking, don't engage him or don't engage her. They might be busy or they might be doing some. I would create excuse 1,001 for that person. So I won't go further. I think I'm repeating myself. But yeah. But the thing is, so where is that point where how can I manage that? How often should I go or engage a particular person? For say I want to create friendship with that person. Ish.
Dave, you can go.
Welcome, David.
Thank you very much,
Welcome,
sir.
David.
How are you?
Doing good. Thank you so much for joining.
Very happy to. I like your subject. I pinned a thread to the nest that I wrote about introverts feeling like we have to act like extroverts, and I am an extroverted introvert. So most people think I'm an extrovert, but I like communicating with people, but only on subjects that I'm interested in and that I know they're interested in. And this is what I'm hearing here is when is enough enough is I think we have a tendency to make decisions for people and make judgments for people. Am I messaging them too much? Am I connecting too much? Am I giving too much? It's not really up to us to decide, am I giving too much? They will tell us if it's too much. They will stop responding or they will say it's too much. And I think that's where the difficulty can lie in not just accepting that we're individuals, we have our own hang-ups and insecurities and vulnerabilities, and so does the other person on the other side of that message as well. They're not.
So sorry. Press the wrong button. Dave, please go ahead. So sorry about that.
Where did you lose me? What happened?
Just like 3 seconds ago.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. So what I'm saying is leave the decisions and opinions of you by other people to them. And likewise, you have to, not make too many prejudgments about people. Not say, like what we're sharing. Also, some stuff that's valuable to us may be boring or mundane to other people, but also some stuff that's, mundane and obvious to us could change somebody else's life. So we don't know. I look at it like echolocation. So bats use echolocation to find where they are in the world. They send out a signal and they wait for a signal to come back. So that's what we do when we share with people. We have to share and send a signal. And then the signal we get back from them, then we understand if we're sending too many messages, if we are connecting, if we're developing that true friendship. So it's it's not getting out of your own head, it's getting out of their head, getting out of the other person's head. Let them make the decisions about if it's too much or it's not, or it's helpful or it's not. And you just share what you view as being helpful, and you share what you view as, sharing some of yourself rather than preempting the share, and I think that's the difficulty is you can kind of get into conversations and you can say something thinking, kind of predicting what the other person wants to hear instead of just being yourself.
Thank you, Dave. As always, you shared really actionable things that we could do, and then especially about all this. Um, I don't know what the word I should use, but things that go on in our head about uh, our own our own limitations, which is what you was highlighting.
Yeah, but can I just make a point on that, Fanad?
Sure, sure.
That's exactly what I'm saying is that we feel somewhat insecure about somebody else's opinion on us, but then we make the decision for them. We say, "Oh, I'm messaging them too much," or what I say is not interesting, and like they have to be allowed to make the decision as well. So, like for me, the introverted part and sometimes the insecurity part it comes from us having this imaginary person in our head who we're messaging, even though we're messaging a real person. We're putting thoughts into their head and putting opinions into their head that they may not have even confirmed with us. Like if somebody doesn't like you, they won't message you anymore. If they keep messaging you back, that's the signal. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be systematized to be the best system there is no perfect amount of time or perfect amount of words to communicate with another human being. Just like we know there's no perfect solution to anything that we have ourselves as well. It's organic and it has to develop like that.
And we don't know what's going on in their life, right? If they're not responding, they could be busy. They could be there. 10 different things that may be going on in their life,
Yes,
but they're not able
exactly.
to
And that's
express
yeah,
them.
we tend to lead the worst case scenario there, and what I feel is even though introverts, we have that feeling of like an underdog being less important than the other person. We also have the opposite opinion that, like, when somebody doesn't message us back, it's like they don't like me. Now all of a sudden we're making ourselves the most important person, that person, the second you sent a message, looked at it and didn't like it and didn't want to message you anymore. And like you said, Vinod, they could just have other stuff going on in their life. Like, we are not, I think it helps to accept you are not that important to anybody else in the world. You are the most important person to you and your close circle of friends and family. Then you are secondary importance to those people. But likewise, even the people that you message and connect with, when you listen to them, you have this automatic filter that goes, what's in it for me? Where's the value for me? How does it make me feel? Does it help me? And there's a value exchange going on all the time. So, let them find their own value rather than kind of making those decisions for them.
Exactly. Great points, Dave. Great points. Thank you for sharing them. Udbay, you want to go next?
Yeah, just want to follow up with Ego. What based on what Dave said, do you have any follow up on that? Can't hear you.
Said no, I don't.
Ego, did we lose you?
I'm sorry, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you. Do you have any follow up on what Dave just talked? What he said just now?
No, no, I don't. Thank you, Dave. Thank you so much.
All right,
Yeah.
perfect. One thing I wanted to point out is what Dave said. It does exactly what I was gonna say, but he went more in detail into it, and then I really like kudos to you for that saying that. Yeah, that's the number one problem for being introvert is, and going back to when I was introvert is, I give you a prime example, right? I have my friends, and then I try to message them and then they never responded back. And I have so many scenarios going in my brain like, oh, this person probably not interested in talking to me. Like, what the hell? They're hanging out with his own boys. Like, he's not care about me. Like, all those crazy thoughts that goes from your brain. But turns out that guy was busy at work because he had a on call right away. And then he went to the work and he didn't have time to reply. So as soon, and I already built up this mentality. And then later on at 11 p.m. when he got out, he's responding and say, "Hey man, I was at work, so I didn't catch your message." So that's a prime example, right? We as introverts, like people who just find out like, it's like, let's say we don't have any friends, and then when we find a friend, we rely ourselves so much on them, then we don't even care about our feelings, right? We just completely submitted ourselves to them. Like, oh my God, like this person is not replying to me, this and that. No, be who you are. Like, like people, world doesn't end of what you're thinking, what you're trying to do, right? You can provide value. That's not that could be under your control, but what people thinking, that's not under your control. So stop thinking like that. If you that's the number one thing of being extrovert, right? Extrovert don't even care about it. Yo, I sent you a message, you didn't reply. All right, cool. I got other friends to talk to. Whenever you have time, reply me back. That's basically a thinking of an extrovert. But introvert is just so much deep dive into it that they always getting sick out of it, right? They become sick. Like, oh my God, this person's not. Like all those scenarios just kind of like storing in their brain, but then turns out that's not the actual case that they thought that it was. So that's a really good point, Dave. Thanks for bringing out. I mean, we did not discuss that point earlier, so thank you so much for bringing that topic.
All right. With that, is there any other point that anybody want to discuss, or should we bring it home and wrap it up? So I will give it 30 seconds for anybody who want to go ahead, Vishal.
I just wanted to make one small point. Like we intended to make this space only around introvert junior Dave, and but like I did not expect that we'll discuss so many topics. Like we discussed from how an extrovert feels to how you tackle that to everything. Like I did not. I under expected the space a bit. I expected that we'll not be able to cover most of the topics in 2 hours, but like it was incredible. Like we covered so many topics, and we have the recording as well. So yeah, and you'll also share the recording on YouTube as well. So I just wanted to end it on this note. Like it was an incredible space.
Completely agree with that, Vishal. And thank you and kudos to you for suggesting this topic. So, anybody who was new, this topic was suggested by Vishal. Vishal and I have faced the same challenges. I faced that in my early career. I'm still facing it sometime. And then Vishal, so we learn a lot from this. Um, we talk about, as I was saying before, we talk about the mechanics, we talk about the emotions, our own belief system. We talk about how we can actually break that and do little stuff that can actually give us some practice, and then get us better there. So with that, thank you everyone for joining. I want to see if any other speaker want to share anything. I will start with Udba. Udba, any closing remark?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say 3 points. Try to become extrovert by contributing and speaking. If you're shy or anything, don't take that mentality out of your head and start speaking. Speaking is an initial state. Once you start speaking with people, you build confidence, and then you become a talkative person, and then it becomes your second nature, which means that it's gonna be easier for you to talk to anyone and start a conversation. Second thing is also be a good listener and observer based on people's like gesture, right? If you approach someone and they're not into it, it's still have a conversation, but then make sure you just move out and then go somewhere else, and then next time approach again. Maybe that person, if you show yourself true and then be kind to people, trust me, they will like to talk to you back, right? If you're just being being a meanful, like, dummy or something, I don't want to use the word since it's recorded, but if you're being a dummy and then try to go, being like forcefully talk to someone, trust me, they will not going to trust you ever again, and then move on, and then next time they see you, they're not going to talk to you. So be extra careful when talking to people. And third thing, and really important, be casual. Be who you are. You don't have to be professional at all time. Like, oh, how you doing? How nice to meet you. But nah, man, you can talk like slang with people. That's totally fine, as long as like you maintain that respectful conversation. That still, hang out with people, talk to them, and the more you talk to people, the more you build confidence, and then next thing you know, you become talkative.
Love it, Udba. Love it. Dallas, any closing remark from your side?
Yeah, man. This was once again a really nice space. I think all of the speakers in here and even the listeners as well, we work together to
If you're
make
speaking, we
it.
cannot hear you.
Oh,
We
you
can
can't hear
hear
me?
we can hear you, Dallas.
Yeah, I
Okay.
can hear you.
Yeah, no, this was cool. This was cool. I appreciate being a part of it. I'm actually an introvert as well. It's funny. We got a whole bunch of introverts on the stage with us. But hey, it's introverts change the world, right? So do extroverts. I'm just very grateful to be here. Keep practicing. We'll get there. Back to you, Vinod.
Vinod, he said back to you.
I did. I was not able to hear anything, but thank you.
It's
Thank you,
recorded, so
Dallas.
you can listen again later.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. I will do that. And thank you so much for coming, Dave. Any closing remark?
No, my friend, I only caught the end of it, so I might try to listen back to the recording when I get time.
Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing. Those are excellent points that you share with us. Um, Devishri, Nicole, Ego, do you have anything?
Yep, I recently joined about maybe 15 minutes ago, so I couldn't attend much, but I'll take the recording. And anyways, I heard your point from Dave and Udva over here, so it's great and an amazing space.
Vinod, back to
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I was waiting if Nicole or Ego will say anything. So, with that, thank you everyone for joining. All the speaker who are not here yet, here right now. Um, I personally learn a lot. This was the sixth space, and I really enjoyed everything that we have discussed. I want to invite everyone for the next space. That next space will be slightly different. I have my friend, his name is Aaron, who will join us, and he will talk about real estate for junior developer. And I will give you a background that the real estate is one of the instruments that I use for investment, and very early I started poking around that with either a plot or a rental, and so I'm not an expert. I've done it, but I'm not expert. But I'm bringing Aaron here who have 10 rentals, and he will be talking and he will be sharing some of the things that we could do, and the discussion will be around that as a developer, you buy your first house with the mindset that 2 years later you will convert that into a rental. But anyway, um, it will be around rental, it will be around some investment. Let's see. Udba, you had your hand up.
Is he local?
No, he's in Houston.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, he's my accountability buddy as well. We was in ship 30 for 30, and then so I know him for a long time. We help each other with the content strategy. I mean, we kind of came a long way, uh, but it's a the investment for a developer is a topic that many people avoid, many people don't do it, but it is something that's really important, whether it is 401 or general real estate or anything. So I think that would be a very good topic, as we have covered so much ground around with these six spaces. I felt like wealth would be the next one, and at some point will bring health, which I'm really bad at. All right, with that, thank you everyone for joining. Bye for now.